Secrets of the Great Pyramid.
This is the Great Pyramid of Giza. For over 4,000...
I wish we were alive to see it when it was like this. Like, before it got eroded and everything, when it was, like, pure white with a gold tip. Ugh.
600 years, it has endured in the Egyptian desert. For most of human civilization, it was the tallest building in the world. It was built to last for...
Yo, you want to know a fucking crazy fact? The majority of the people that have ever lived have been born in the last 2,000 years. Like, there's way... That's also why we're technologically advancing, but we also just have way more fucking people, so the statistical likelihood of there being somebody that creates something that's great or detrimental to society is way higher, just because there's more and more chances for success or failure.
It has survived earthquakes, erosions, and wars. Countless plunderers, British explorers blasting their way in with dynamite, even Mr. Beast.
Someone 40...
Even Mr. Beast went to the pyramids.
500 years ago, put this rock right here.
Wow, that's crazy. Mr. Beast stood in the same spot as ancient Egyptian architects that tried to build, or not even tried, built the Great Pyramids.
The 2.3 million stone blocks, some of them
what a collab.
Massive up to 50 metric tons, make it one of the heaviest human-made objects of all time. It's also built...
Oh my god, is that how they did it?
It's also built with incredible precision. Its base is roughly the size of 7 New York City blocks, and almost perfectly level, never deviating more than an inch.
It's that big? It's the size of 7 New York City blocks? Get the fuck out of here. I knew it was tall and wide. Not that large, though.
Never deviating more than an inch. The 4 sides are aligned to the cardinal directions, with near-perfect accuracy, thousands of years before the compass was even invented. To this day, no one has found out how exactly it was built. To really understand the Great Pyramid, we modeled the whole thing, and we will tackle 3 fascinating theories of its construction. This is the insane engineering of the pyramids.
Obviously it was aliens. No, they built that shit. It probably just took forever. But they had to build it before he died. So they were on like a shot clock there, dude.
This is Khufu, a pharaoh of ancient Egypt. He's king of the wealthiest nation on the planet, and he's a god. He's going to live forever, and he needs somewhere to live out his immortality, a home that will last. It will need to be incredibly secure to house all of his riches, and it should also look amazing. His father Sneferu, also a god, is buried here. He's the pharaoh.
But then when did they just abandon that shit? You know what I mean? Because obviously it was after generations and all the people that lived around Khufu's time had died at that point, and like the other, you know, people that ruled Egypt. But at some point they were probably just, they abandoned those beliefs. Like, are there people today that still believe that Khufu was a god? I don't know. I never learned about that in theology, though. Yes? I don't know. That's like the same thing as like Greek mythology. That's like in that sense. They were brainwashed. I don't think it was brainwashed. I think that was just also like early civilization. Most early civilizations had some level of like religious belief, or like mythological beliefs, like Greeks. I love learning about Greek mythology, by the way. That's like my favorite. That's like my favorite shit to learn about, just because it really pans into like the human mindset and it humanizes the gods. Not in the effect that they're good, but it's like, hey, these people are assholes. Like, imagine giving a human godlike powers and letting them do whatever they want and making them immortal. That's Greek gods, right? Like, hey, they, you know, fucking kill people for fun. They cheat on their wives. Like, they're human, right? They fuck up, right? A lot. Over endless amounts of time and endless amounts of power, they let it go to their head. Like, it's more realistic than like an all-powerful or like and all good god, in my mind.
Pharaoh who taught Egypt how to build its pyramids, but the lines on his aren't quite perfect. Something went wrong. Khufu can do better. He can bring even more glory to Egypt. The nation is still mourning Sneferu's death. Khufu wants to lift the people up by drawing them into the most incredible project humanity has ever attempted. And then surely they'll love
They got happy about that. They were like, yeah, let's build another pyramid.
him, and later remember him. More than his dad. A project as grand and ambitious as the Great Pyramid can only be pulled off by a very wealthy and very organized nation. The nation of Egypt is just that, thanks in large part to the Nile. Every year, the Nile overflows and fertilizes the land with rich topsoil. This gives ancient Egypt the ability to grow excess crops to keep its production well fed, and to sustain a standing army.
The army regularly goes out and terrorizes Egypt's neighbors, plundering their wealth to bring home for the pharaoh.
So Khufu has all the money he needs to build something very, very extra. But money isn't everything. Khufu also needs the smartest architect to design a building that will set him up for eternity. There's only one man for the job, Khufu's half-brother, Hemiunu. He was born for the role, a once-in-a-generation.
And did they have school for this? Like, I know school, like, early schooling was mainly, like, reserved for rich people. And, you know, in, like, Greek times, it would be, like, sons of kings or people that were nobles, right? Like, the rich people or, like, highly statused individuals were the ones that were taught. Is that the same thing in ancient Egypt? It still is. No, it's not. You still receive an education regardless of your money. I mean, higher education can sometimes be reserved to those that are wealthy, but, I mean, I just attended Brooke's graduation, and half of her class was first-generation college students, so, I mean, it's not, to say that education is only reserved for wealthy people today is wrong.
The design for his pyramid won't just follow in his father's footsteps, it will surpass it in every way. He envisions a pyramid far grander, more complex, and more secure than anything built before. A true quantum leap in architectural mastery. Hemiunu plans to build a pyramid primarily out of solid stone. Inside will be 3 burial chambers, with a passageway leading to each. The first is built underground, in case Khufu dies early into the pyramid.
Do you think they did tests for this, or they just fucking did it? Because for you to be, like, one of the earliest architects having to do some crazy-ass pyramid building that would take 20 years to build, how would they, like, I know they had smaller pyramids, but were those tests or were they for other people? Because, like, this could go horribly wrong.
The first is built underground, in case Khufu dies early into the pyramid's construction. The second will be hidden behind a false wall, so nobody can plunder the riches inside. Leading up to the third and highest burial chamber is a majestic corridor with stunningly high corbelled ceilings, the Grand Gallery. The king's chamber will be breathtaking, a chance for Hemiunu to flex.
It'll be huge for ancient Egyptian standards. It will be built entirely from pink granite monoliths, quarried far away from Aswan, fitted together so precisely that you couldn't slip a razor blade in between them. Inside a granite sarcophagus, Khufu will finally be laid to rest.
Once complete from the inside, the pyramid will be encased in perfectly smooth white limestone. It will dazzle in the sunlight and gleam in the moonlight. Finally, a golden capstone, the pyramidion, will be placed on top. Once all is put in place, Khufu will be ready for eternity. Imagine you and some coworkers have to hoist a block as heavy as a double-decker bus, 130 meters into the air. The only tools your boss gives you are some rope, some wood, and some rubble. If you've got something heavy,
I'd be like, fuck, I quit, man. I'm not fucking, yeah, hey, here's a 2-ton stone block and a bit of rope. You gotta get it up there. No.
move somewhere high. The simplest, most straightforward way is to
build a ramp at what, like a 10% incline? That ramp's gonna be like fucking 2 miles long.
just drag it up a ramp. You tie it with some rope, get help from as many people as can fit on the ramp, and heave it up together. As the pyramid grows, the ramp would be raised and extended to accommodate the increasing height.
Which would be fucking terrible, dude.
Easy. No crazy advanced machinery necessary.
It would just take so much time. That's why I think that's unlikely. They had a lot of manpower, but if they were smart enough to build the pier, like, what was his name? Hemiunu? Obviously, he's not the one that's just figuring out every single little detail on how this is going to be built. But if he's the one designing it and they're smart enough to line it up with north, south, east, west and have it fucking align with the stars and all this other shit, they're smart enough to find another method other than we build a big sand ramp that fucking goes 2 miles.
Most Egyptologists have traditionally supported the external ramp theory. It continues to be the go-to explanation for how the builders pulled it off. And there's loads of archaeological evidence that confirms ancient
Okay, never mind.
Egyptians use big ramps for construction all the time. But there's
Ooh, wait, no, that looks more reasonable. A small ramp and then it wraps around.
ramps for construction all the time. But there's no consensus on the size, shape, and incline of such a ramp. That's because after a certain height, the external ramp theory starts to fall apart. To move a 2-ton
Dude,
block
yeah, because at the tip of it, you would have to be walking so far.
up a slope, you need a team of about 12 workers. And as the pyramid starts to grow, your ramp either needs to become steeper or longer to reach the top. You're going to want that incline to be as gentle as possible, otherwise the job is too intense and work
Well, and the other problem is building that big of a ramp. Because, yeah, they could just throw it together with, like, sand, gravel, and some other stuff. But, like, they would have to get enough material to build a ramp that big.
The remains of the workers suggest most were in decent but not spectacular health. These were everyday people, not super elite athletes. Many died before 40 due to the incredibly hard work. Engineers calculate that 8% is the steepest incline for average workers to complete their task. In consequence, the ramp has to become longer. To build a ramp to the full 147-meter height of the pyramid at a gentle enough incline, this ramp would need to be very, very long. Like way more than a kilometer.
Oh, my God, dude. Imagine, bro, it'd be like that far. Imagine you're like, yeah, we got to go lug that shit up. We got to walk that way for a mile and then hit a fucking quick Yui and walk up a ramp. And walk up an inclined ramp. Not like, it's not like, oh, we're just walking with a fucking, like, we're just walking up the ramp. No, you're walking up the ramp, lugging a rock, like a big-ass stone. And it's hard the entire time. And that's one block. And they had to do how many blocks were made up the Khufu's pyramid? How many? 2.5 million. No, that's not what they did. That's not what they did. I believe they built it. I believe they came up with another fucking way to build that shit. 2.3 million blocks, 5.5 million tons of limestone, 8,000 tons of granite, and 500,000 tons of mortar. So they had to go harvest that shit, fucking cut it right. And you can look into that stuff. There's like blocks that they fucked up and they just left there. Like if in Egypt, in a faraway areas where they had to harvest, because some, like where the pyramid was built and what it's made out of, some of the materials that they had to get were far as shit. So they had to go out there, cut it up there, and then lug it back. And if you go to those mining sites where they got all that stuff, you could see blocks that they like 80% finished, and then they went, and it cracked. And they went, whoop, and then restarted. And they had to do that for 2.3 million blocks. No.
Up to 3 times as much volume as the entire pyramid. Remains of such an enormous ramp haven't been found, and it would take thousands of workers decades just to build it. Decades Khufu doesn't have to spare. There is a way to keep the ramp shorter. You could build a corkscrew ramp that spirals around the sides, like a road winding up a mountain.
I already believe they did this method. I know it 100%, chat. I can just tell. I can sense.
Every time the pyramid grows, the ramp grows with it, and eventually just becomes part of the pyramid itself. That would be a pretty ingenious way to save up on space and material, and it would explain why we haven't found any remains of a ramp. But it comes with a whole new set of problems. The pyramid's triangular faces need to be accurately maintained at precisely 51.9 degrees from the bottom to the top. Surveyors need to measure the edges constantly to ensure there's no deviation.
Oh.
If you're off by even a few centimeters at the bottom, the top could be off by several meters.
Oh my God, imagine making Khufu's pyramid and they're at the top and it's like this. And they go, uh-oh. Like, you've been doing that shit for like 15 years. You're like, oh, fuck, we gotta restart.
Since the spiral ramp blocks your sight, it's almost impossible to ensure that all the lines of the pyramid are actually straight, which would leave you with a crooked pyramid at the end. And as we know, the Great Pyramid is in fact not crooked. This brings us to theory number 2. It's the late 90s. A French engineer, Henri Audin, is watching a documentary about the pyramids. It explains the pyramid construction.
Dude, when we would watch documentaries in school about ancient Egyptian, like, pyramids and history, I would have so much fucking fun. I remember in, like, 5th or 6th grade, we watched this one documentary about, like, ancient Egypt, and it was, like, the mysteries of the pyramid. I was locked in. Like, locked in, like wide eye. And school ended, and I remember the tape ended, and she was like, "We'll pick it up another day." I went, ah! I was like a cliffhanger, and we ended up only finishing one episode, and we didn't watch the rest, and I was pissed. I remember being like, "So are we gonna know if Khufu's in the fucking?" Because it was about something of like, oh, we found it was like something about a secret chamber in one of the pyramids, and it was like a cliffhanger, and it was on one episode. There was like a hole, and they like I remember they zoomed in on the camera, and it showed like what looked to be a tomb, and I went like freaking out.
With the external ramp theory, but Henri is skeptical. To his engineering mind, it just doesn't make sense. He calls up his architect's son, Jean-Pierre Audin, and asks his opinion. Jean-Pierre is intrigued. Without knowing much about ancient Egypt at all, or even visiting the pyramid, he starts puzzling over other ways the blocks could have been lifted. He labors over it obsessively for years, until he's finally ready to share it with Egyptologists. Most of them ignore him. He's an outsider, and it's a field notorious for gatekeeping.
French guy who knows nothing, because there is no evidence.
But his theory has since gained traction, because Audin has put himself into the shoes of Emeunu, thinking through every last detail.
I mean, I think that's the smartest strategy. Just be like, if I was contracted as an architect to build this pyramid with their technology, what would I do? If I had 10 years and I was like, I need to get this done now.
His theory could even explain how the heaviest granite beams might have been moved without needing to be hauled by 600 workers.
Here's a concise version. Emeunu does use an external ramp for the first part of the pyramid, up to around 60 meters.
But he doesn't just build a basic ramp made of rubble.
No, his ramp is made of limestone. The limestone blocks that will later compose the upper layers of the pyramid. That would explain why we haven't found any remains of a ramp around the pyramid. They're right there, in front of us. The short external ramp is used to build the widest, lower levels of the pyramid. It's also used to haul the heavy granite beams that compose the king's chamber.
But hundreds of workers hauling a 50-ton block in a small space is logistically challenging.
So Audin believes Emeunu used the long 46-meter corridor, the Grand Gallery, as an ingenious counterweight system.
No! Back then? What would this have been, like 4,000 BC? He put weights back there and helped
Used the long 46-meter corridor, the Grand Gallery, as an ingenious counterweight system. It would have been built opposite the external ramp, and its size and slope would be leveraged with counterweights that would assist workers in getting the granite up to the king's chamber.
Wow.
The Grand Gallery is a weird space in the Great Pyramid. It has details that puzzled archaeologists for a long time, like why it's so tall, so narrow, and why it has stone benches running along the inside. Audin believes the Grand Gallery helps move impossibly heavy stones by functioning like a railroad track.
The stone benches are actually the rails for carts on wooden rollers. Remember, no wheels.
Bro, nah, this seems so fucking real. No, this is like, he's so in depth where it's like, yeah, no, for sure. Why do they have benches there? Because it's a hallway. Like, they're not doing their union break there.
Essentially, a huge granite block at the bottom of the external ramp would be attached with a rope to a trolley car loaded up with heavy blocks at the top of the Grand Gallery.
When the trolley cars rolled down the Grand Gallery, the heavy granite block would be pulled up the ramp. There's even evidence of scuffing from the repeated impact of something heavy in the Grand Gallery.
So it's a plausible explanation of what this unique corridor was used for.
Once the heavy granite beams are in place, the external ramp has served its purpose.
When was the wheel created? Around 4000 BC. Was the wheel invented before the pyramids? There's no evidence that Egyptians used the wheel to build pyramids. Oh my God. Pyramids were built between 2700 BCE and 1500 BCE. I thought it was 4000. That might have been the start of the Egyptian empire.
Now, the pyramid is too tall for it to be practical, so the builders switch things up. They dismantle the external ramp and use its blocks to start building the rest of the pyramid from the inside out, with an internal ramp, kind of like the driveway spiraling up inside a parking garage.
This second ramp,
but then did they fucking fill it in?
Would have been built from the bottom up, with an incline of about 7%.
It would go straight up until it hits one of the pyramid sides, where it would make a sharp left continue up another side at the same incline. The ramp continues zigzagging up the pyramid, with the flights of the ramp getting shorter as the pyramid narrows. From the bottom to the top, the internal ramp is over 1 kilometer long. Moving heavy blocks up an incline is manageable, especially if you're using a sled over smooth limestone. But each time the ramp turns a corner, the workers have the enormously difficult task of pivoting the heavy stones. Odon calculates the ramp had to be less than 3 meters wide, and the workers would have needed somewhere to stand to turn the block. So he proposes that at the end of each flight of the ramp, there must have been a big space left open for the workers to turn the block, possibly with the help of wooden levers or cranes. The empty spaces would also be a nice place for the workers to catch their breath. And there's actually evidence of one of these spaces.
Oh!
There's a previously unexplained notch that
I love this video. I don't care if everybody hates this. I find this so fascinating.
Corresponds to Odon's predictions for what the spaces would look like.
Like, imagine, dude, no technology having to build something that, like, monstrous in one man's lifetime. And being like, we need to get this done before he fucking dies.
About 83 meters up the pyramid. Odon's theories about the Grand Gallery and the internal ramp offer viable solutions to two of the pyramid's biggest mysteries.
Yeah, but then with these narrow hallways, I know there's like corridors. Like the one with the tall ceiling makes sense because it's still there. But I feel like all of this doesn't still exist within the pyramid. So what did they fill it in?
Grand Gallery and the internal ramp offer viable solutions to two of the pyramid's biggest mysteries. How 2-ton blocks were lifted so high, and how 50-ton beams were moved without the space for the hundreds of workers needed to haul them. But if he's right, the ramp's design would have been highly complex.
And then, side question. They obviously shaved down the blocks and, like, chipped them away so they would fit this incline. Were they just supported by their own weight? Like, was there any mending of these things together? Because when you actually look at the, like, hallway, you don't see gaps. See, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm confused. That's where I'm confused. Do you understand where I'm confused, chat? Like, they're stacking these blocks on top of each other, but the hallway looks seamless. How are they doing that? Because it's a pyramid, it naturally supports itself. Yes, but in the hallways themselves, I didn't see any, like, clear-cut, like, oh, this is a block. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I just want to go to that one clip. Oh, no, you could see stone blocks. Yeah. No, you could see them. There's a seam. It looks like maybe they put, like, some sort of sediment in between them, but that would have been it. Yeah, no, you could see the blocks. So then they just carved them out. Wow.
But if he's right, the ramp's design would have been highly complex. Its path would have to be designed with great care to avoid intersecting with any passageways or chambers within the pyramid. Critics of his theory are either unconvinced that its construction is supported by archaeological evidence, or wave off the internal ramp as overcomplicated. Many suggest the external ramp theory is likelier because it's simpler, but ancient Egyptian workmanship exhibits extraordinarily high levels of precision in so many aspects. Why not also apply this ability to a highly sophisticated ramp design? And also, why not entertain an even more sophisticated theory?
Yeah, like, why are we saying, oh, they could build this with such extreme accuracy, yet the only way they could think of fucking building it is big ramp? Like,
for how they built the pyramids.
all right, no way they had, like, a fucking crank system where they were raising the blocks. The water elevator? Is this Minecraft? Is this Minecraft? What do we got a bubble elevator going on here? The water elevator? That shit ain't floating.
In 2024, a flurry of newspaper articles announced that the mystery of the pyramids was finally solved, thanks to brand new archaeological evidence. As it turns out, the Nile might just be the key to the mystery of how the pyramids were built.
Nowadays, the Giza Plateau lies in an arid strip of the Sahara Desert, kilometers away from the lush banks of the Nile. But during the time that the pyramids were built, the landscape may have looked very different. A 2024 study combined radar satellite imagery with deep soil coring techniques. This way it identified what appears to be a long-lost branch of the Nile flowing alongside the majority of the pyramids. The pyramid builders probably used this branch to move heavy stones straight to the pyramid base, instead of dragging them all the way from distant quarries.
More than plausible that the builders
Bro.
used the Niles to transport the blocks horizontally. But what about vertically? Another peer-reviewed study from 2024 offers a fascinating theory. It proposes a radical and controversial idea. The ancient Egyptians might have used hydraulic power to raise heavy stones.
And bro, ain't nobody write this down? Ain't nobody go, oh yeah, we fucking figured this out. Here's some notes on a hydraulic elevator if we ever need to use this again. When did the Library of Alexandria catch on fire? 48 BCE. Did the Library of Alexandria have books from Egypt? The Library of Alexandria held 500,000 documents from Assyria, Greece, Persia, Egypt, and India. Oh my God, no way.
Words, a water-powered elevator. The idea of such an elevator is not new, but for a long
Like, I don't even understand how this works.
time, credentialed Egyptologists considered such theories fringe and unscientific, just speculations cooked up by pyramidids. They might sound cool, but there was zero evidence to actually support them. Until, perhaps, now. The researchers, including hydrologists, mechanical engineers, and geographers, found evidence that the earliest Egyptian pyramid could have been built using a floating wooden elevator capable of raising heavy stones with far less human labor. The water elevator would have worked something like this. Rainfall and floodwater would be collected into a nearby structure that functions as a dam. A system of underground conduits guides that water into a shaft running from underneath the pyramid up through its central axis, kind of like a volcano. This internal shaft is where all the upward movement is generated. Within the shaft, floating on the water's surface, is a heavy wooden platform, which workers would load up with heavy stones from the ground level. Then they'd open and close valves near the bottom of the shaft.
How did they figure this shit out? How did they figure this shit out? I don't get it. I understand the level of survival and like you being able to go, okay, yeah, bro. And your dumbass just saying, oh, aliens every time, bro. Like, yeah, I understand they're smart, but holy fuck. Like the level of application intelligence and knowledge they would have to fucking hold in that time. Like, this was thousands of years ago. Somebody figuring this out now, yeah, fucking no shit. But then, I mean, you could say the same thing about any discovery. You could say the same thing about Newton and, like, the laws of physics, like just law of thermodynamics and the law of inertia and things like that. Like, how the fuck did he figure that out?
Which would feed in or drain out the water. Manipulating the water levels in this way would raise and lower the wooden platform, like an elevator. It could raise the platform to heights of at least 17 meters. Then workers would unload the stones and construct the pyramid from the inside out. The study's lead author claims his theories could also help explain why later ones aren't as large as the Great Pyramid. As the climate dried out of the region over time, builders couldn't have captured enough water for a hydraulic lift system. They'd have to rely on human strength to lift heavy stones. So does this—
Wait, I need to look at that. Is this when they were built? So this is the year they were built and how high they were. Oh, so they got way smaller.
So does this theory hold water? Experts are mostly skeptical. Zahi Hawass, a leading figure in Egyptology, says the theory is completely wrong. The pyramid in the study is not only smaller than Khufu's Great Pyramid, but differs structurally and was built of far lighter stones. So if Khufu's pyramid were built with some kind of water elevator, it would have to be bigger and perhaps more complex. So far, no comparable shaft is known to exist in the Great Pyramid. Ramps, however, are found all over archaeological excavations of ancient Egypt. So the most common theories continue to put forward some sort of ramp as the dominant construction model. There are other potentially viable scientific theories that try to solve pieces of this puzzle.
This looks so fucking complicated. This shit looks... No. They got just a bunch of mini ramps, and then they all lead to each other.
Expert we spoke with suggests multiple smaller ramps from all sides to cut down on construction time. But to this day, there is still no generally accepted theory for how they did it. In any case, it's good to be wary of all the claims coming out about finally solving the mystery. Everyone wants to be the one to definitively figure it out. The Great Pyramid is the last of the 7 wonders of the world we have left.
I wish we could go back in time. I wish we could go forward in time, too. That would be awesome. But being able to just be like a spectator and just like witness random, really old historical events would be so cool.
It's so old, even Cleopatra considered it ancient. But even though they've been around thousands of years, it's actually...
Yeah, what is it? Is it the Roman Empire? What is it? It's the Roman Empire. Okay, we perceive the Roman Empire how the Roman Empire perceives Egypt. That's how far they are. We're closer to the Romans than the Romans were to ancient Egypt. Like, when they look at ancient Egypt, they're like, yeah, that shit's fucking old news, dude. That's history.
Actually very strange we haven't found any blueprints for the pyramids. The ancient Egyptians were obsessive documenters. We have their tax records, their love poems, their
Tax records? Nah, the IRS was knocking on people's doors even then. Huh.
feed purchases from 4,000 years ago. But papyri with plans for the pyramids have never been found. Whether the plans were lost, hidden, or intentionally destroyed, we don't know. But what we do know, and what science might be at the brink of confirming, is already very incredible. In 2017, scientists discovered a mysterious void in the Great Pyramid using cutting-edge particle physics. Researchers have yet to access these spaces. Some archaeologists believe the big void isn't so mysterious, that it's probably just structural, built as stress-relieving spaces so the inner chambers wouldn't collapse. Some believe it helped refine Udon's theory of the Grand Gallery counterweight system. Others, including Egypt's top archaeologist, Zahi Hawass, suggest the void might be Khufu's real burial chamber. Because that's
Wait, they haven't found Khufu's grave?
the other great unsolved mystery of the pyramids. Khufu's mummy and all of his treasures have never been found.
Oh, no! No! No, now I'm locked in. All right, chat. I'm going to go figure this shit out. I'll see you guys later. All right, chat. I think I need to go do some research here. Let me put my brain power towards this. I think I'll find it.
Whatever it's for, the big void reveals there's a lot more.
Bro, I hope they find Khufu's fucking grave. Dude, that'd be crazy. If they find that shit, oh my God. If I could see that on some documentary with some old-ass motherfucker talking behind it, and this is Khufu's grave. I'd be like, I haven't been to a museum since I was in fucking school. Like, you don't go on field trips when you're in high school usually. I went on one the whole time I was in high school, and we had to go see George Washington's tent. And my fucking history teacher almost fucking had an orgasm. He was fucking so excited. He was like, wow, like taken aback by it. I was just like, it's a fucking tent, okay? It's a fucking tent. It's not that. But now, and especially when I was younger, we used to go to like these museums where we would see mummified bodies and like ancient weapons and shit. Bro, I want to go to a museum so bad now on like a dead day. I don't want other people to be there. I don't want no damn field trips there. I want it to be dead silent, and I'm going to be reading that shit. You know how fun that'd be? If I could pull up to a museum and just start be like, this is an ancient mace that's from the year 1632 that was used in the Battle of blank and blank. I'd be like, God damn, for real? I'd be like, that shit's old as fuck. Those tour guides be ruining it, though. When they get into character. When I went to the George Washington one, they had to act like they were from that time. So annoying. Oh, hello! Fuck you. Move out of the way. I want to go read shit. Stop being like, oh, well, this is the fucking... Look at this. This is the fucking wig. I don't care. I want to read it myself. All right, next. The hunt for America's smartest serial killer.
My motive for doing what I am going to do is simply personal revenge. I do not expect to accomplish anything by it. Lincoln, Montana, 1996. This cabin is the chosen home of Theodore J. Kaczynski, more commonly known as the Unabomber. He's long been feared as America's smartest criminal, a serial bomber who's killed and wounded targets across the country with no clear connection. For 17 years, he's eluded the FBI. It's the largest, most expensive manhunt in the Bureau's history. He's the evil genius they simply can't catch. Likely history's most intellectual serial killer. He's terrorized the nation, instilling fear in Americans about opening their mail and getting on planes.
Didn't he change rulings on like how certain postal services have to like handle packaging now. Like they've tightened restrictions on what you can send and where. Not necessarily just because of him, but I mean he was somebody that was able to get around a lot of those like laws. He would just send people bombs in the mail.
And he did it all from his cabin. Here is where he built his bombs, where he wrote his manifesto, and where he evaded capture for nearly 2 decades. It's where he turned from off-the-grid recluse to world-famous murderer. This
And
cabin...
it's crazy that a lot of, not even just like Ted Kaczynski, but a lot of serial killers as well, get away. Even if they're caught, they end up like confessing to a bunch of different murders that aren't related to them. Ted Kaczynski's a little different because he's mailing people bombs, so they're all like clearly related by like method of, you know, murder. But in general, these serial killers, if they just stopped, would never be found. And there are many serial killers, not like thousands, but there's so many serial killers that have never been caught.
cabin contains all the evidence the FBI will need to convict him. It's located deep in the Montana wilderness. Back in 1969, Ted moved here from California, where he left behind a shining career as a math professor at UC Berkeley. He wanted to get closer to nature and far, far away from everyone who pisses him off, which is most people. He built this cabin with his brother, back when Ted still talked to him. It's got no electricity, no plumbing, just a wood stove, a bed, and a whole lot of books. Right now, Ted is building another bomb. They're meticulously crafted, and he's continuously improving his technique. Every year, they become more lethal. In fact, he's got another one under his bed, wrapped and ready to go. But he won't get a chance to send it, because despite his intellect, he made some pretty dumb mistakes.
How many people did Ted Kaczynski kill? Everybody knows of the Unabomber because it's just like the story of a man that used to send bombs to people in the mail. I don't really know a lot of the specifics about him. Dude, the production quality of Fern's videos has only gotten better. Why are the fingers so fucking dirty? Alright, skip through the intro.
This video is largely based on these 2 books. Links are in the description. We attribute the social and psychological problems of modern society to the fact that that society requires people to live under conditions radically different from those under which the human race evolved. Born in 1942, Ted grows up in a pretty average family in the suburbs of Chicago. They're working-class Polish Americans. His parents are politically progressive, bookish and intellectual, and really into the outdoors. They're strict but loving. At least, that's how they remember it. It becomes obvious at a young age that Ted is exceptionally gifted, so his parents push him to succeed. He skips 2 grades and easily aces every class. He's a pretty normal kid for someone with an IQ of 168.
168? Doesn't that make him like a fucking genius?
Sure, Ted is quiet, shy around girls, and arrogant, but he has a core circle of friends and plenty of hobbies. Like his parents and brother, he loves playing music, reading, and camping. People like Ted. They'll later remember him as a sensitive, respectful kid. All that starts to change when Ted enrolls at Harvard University at just 16 years old. Like many college freshmen, Ted struggles to adjust. Here, he no longer feels like the smartest person in every room. And as a working-class kid thrown into the world of America's elite, he's a fish out of water. Other students and even faculty mock his shabby clothes and blue-collar background. He's deeply bothered by their snobbery, pain that will follow him through life.
Well, a lot of people that get into Ivy League schools come from families of very rich people and very successful people as well that put these implications on them that they need to succeed. And then that's why so many people that freak out when they fail to get in Ivy Leagues aren't even freaking out because they're upset they didn't get in. They're upset on how their family will perceive them because of their quote-unquote failure. I never understand it. I think the idea of Ivy Leagues is fucking stupid, and the prestigiousness of them If you're going to go to an Ivy League and you're smart enough to go to an Ivy League, yeah, fucking good on you. But if you're somebody with like a 1560 SAT score and a fucking 4.5 weighted 5.0 GPA, like there's no need for you to freak out, because now you're just going to be able to get a free ride to any other university. You're still going to be massively successful in your fucking field. You're just not going to an Ivy League. It's honestly like a fucking class, and how do I say this? It's a prestigious thing. It's like I don't want to say it's cultish, but it's like going to an Ivy League makes you feel like you're better than everybody that isn't at an Ivy League.
Ted's also just really young, younger than almost everyone else on campus. As an adult, Ted will write his mother furious letters about this. He demands apologies for pushing him out of the house before he was ready. Ted becomes depressed, and his grades suffer. His class...
Well, that's part of the problem socially, is nobody's going to want to fucking hang out with him. He can't go to bars, right? Yeah, when you're a freshman, sophomore in college, you're not going to bars either. But the second you hit like 21, you only hang out with people that are like 21 and older. It's just me being real. Because the whole social... The second you turn 21, your social setting when you're free is bars. You're like, when you're 19, yeah, when you're a freshman, sophomore, you go to frat parties, and like he could still probably like attend those, even if there are any at the fucking Ivy League he was at. Nobody's gonna hang out with him in his area, in his general age range, in any of his classes, because he can't do anything with them.
Classmates describe him as a total loner, moody, rude, and virtually mute. He's that guy on the dorm floor who only leaves his room to go to class, who ignores everyone else, who slams doors. There's a stench of rotting food wafting from his room.
I don't think that's bad either. It just sucks when you're a dorming student. If you're a dorming student and you don't have friends on campus, it's much more noticeably a problem in your mind than if you commute. If you just drive to class, go to class, and go home, nobody gives a shit. You're never going to be upset about it. But if you're dorming on campus, you go to class, and then you have to go back to your dorm and you have no friends, it sucks, because you're still on campus and there's nothing to do.
Ted doesn't know it yet, but his withdrawn and alienated demeanor has caught the eye of a psychology professor. Dr. Henry A. Murray is very famous, with an on-campus research center named after him. He's basically a god in the social sciences. Murray is looking out for particular types of students, those who will make excellent guinea pigs for an experiment. His final, most elaborate experiment, the capstone of a long and illustrious career. It also happens to be a CIA-funded project designed to cause extreme distress and break down the subject's sense of self.
And he just gets his students to agree to do this? What? Wait. LSD?
Cause extreme distress and break down the subject's sense of self.
He would inject them with LSD?
Clearly, we are in a position to do a great deal of damage. And it does appear that the FBI is not going to catch us anytime soon. The FBI is a joke. It's the 1970s in San Francisco. The city is a hotbed of anti-government activity. There's outrage over the Vietnam War. Protest bombings are a regular occurrence. Explosions happen every week up through the mid-80s. The FBI dubs it the Belfast of North America. Radical far-left groups like the Weather Underground and the Symbionese Liberation Army.
Dude, there's like conspiracies. I'm not even saying I believe in these, but there's conspiracies people try to make that LSD was released by the government to try and like damage the anti-war movement in the United States by making it appear as a hippie movement rather than a genuine U.S. citizen movement to not go to war. And they wanted to make it seem like something that you shouldn't be a part of, and it's like drug addict, like loser, homeless, jobless liberals that just want to get high and think that everything's peace and love, rather than like, hey, war is kind of just a bad idea in general.
Claim credit for many of the bombings. So most of the cases are pretty straightforward in terms of understanding motive and perpetrator. But amidst all of this, the FBI's San Francisco bomb squad makes a shocking discovery. 12 mysterious, similarly built bombs can be linked to one elusive killer or group. They have next to nothing to go on, Just for whatever unknown reason, this string of explosives seems to target universities and airlines. Whoever is building these bombs is an expert crafter and careful to not leave any DNA behind. Not a hair, not a fiber. They're encased in beautiful handmade wooden boxes. There are no eyewitnesses to the bombings and no letters from organizations claiming credit. The victims appear to be scattershot of random people. The unknown perpetrator is referred to by the code Unibomb. For university...
Okay, I don't want to sound like a dumbass when I say this, but the show Dexter has really showed me how meticulous the crime department is in trying to solve murders. I understood that forensics broadly was able to understand a lot of things, but when I started watching Dexter, I really got like, wow, they're able to basically pinpoint a murderer not easily, but like off of any piece of information. If you don't Dexter's fiction, I know. And Dexter's also... Dexter in real life, if that TV show were to exist, if you don't know Dexter somehow, it's basically the story of Miami, like, Metro police officer. Not even police officer. He works in, like, the blood department. He's the serial killer, and he kills murderers. And he, like... He always gets away with it. And... I feel like when you're watching the show, you would realize, like, season 1, this motherfucker would get caught in real life. But they still go through, like, the processes that, like, actual police departments use to try and figure out who killed somebody. And, dude, you leave, like, it could be, like, a fragment of a hair or, like, just any part of your DNA will link you to the crime. And the second they can recognize, like, you're a suspect, you're fucked.
An airline bomber. So far, his bombs have killed 1 person and injured 20 others across 5 different states. Unlucky recipients of the Unabomber's early packages include a campus security guard, a handful of graduate students and professors, a secretary, an airline executive, and passengers on a flight from Chicago to DC. Some are injured quite badly. The first death is in 1985, Hugh Scruton, a guy who owned a computer store in Sacramento and was about to get married. What does he have to do with anything at all?
Yeah, what the fuck does he have to do with the Unabomber?
Far away in his cabin, Ted reads about his death and chuckles to himself. He hears that the FBI offers a $25,000 reward for any information. He's flattered. The Unabomber is making waves. Not bad for the actions of one man in a 10 by 12 foot shack with no electricity, running water, or phone service. Pretty hard to imagine now. These days, connection isn't optional. It's how we get around, check in, needs is not compatible. Back to Ted. Here in his cabin, he's got everything he needs. Snowshoes, maps, a homemade chair, a cot, a typewriter, and hundreds of books. Scraps from junkyards and jars of chemicals for making...
If he were to turn himself in, would he get the $25K? No.
...his bombs. Binders and binders full of notes. All kinds of disguises for delivering the bombs, like wigs and sunglasses, and shoes with fake soles. It's crammed to the gills, but meticulously
Shoes with fake soles. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
organized. At this point, the FBI has 0 promising leads, and by the end of it all, they'll never act.
Genuinely, what is shoes with fake soles? The footprints his shoe. So he would get a shoe that would leave a different footprint than the shoe he was actually wearing. I would if I were to ever go, I'm gonna kill someone, I would never think of that as something that needs to be done. Like different shoe sizes, yeah. Oh my God, he's wearing like a size 14 Nike blazer with an Adidas bottom.
Actually find the perpetrator themselves. The bomber is always several steps ahead of them. They'll pursue thousands of dead ends, spend hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars, and pour countless man-hours into this case. They have no idea why he's targeting the people that he is, but the bombs are so precise, so well crafted. There's gotta be a motive, right? In 1987,
Yeah, I really am now recognizing I know nothing about the Unabomber. Because I always thought the Unabomber targeted, like, politicians and very specific people that were higher up in the government, not just, like, random store owners.
there's finally a break in the case. The Unabomber plants a package outside a Salt Lake City computer store, and a lady spots him. He's wearing a gray hoodie, sunglasses, and sporting a mustache. The police create a sketch and post it all around the country. The bombings immediately stop, and for 5 years, nobody hears anything from the Unabomber. All kinds of people call him with tips, but the leads go nowhere. The case pretty much goes cold, but the FBI know that it's only a matter of time before he'll strike again.
Wow, so he laid low for 5 years, dude. What do you think he was doing in that time?
They're sure he's using the time to perfect his bombs. And they're right.
For 5 years? Holy shit, dude. That's half a decade. That's like 1,700 days. He's just sitting there, just like meticulously tweaking bombs that he's gonna send to people.
In his cabin, Ted is finessing his technique. The upcoming bombs will be a whole lot more lethal. But, as the world will soon find out, he is also busy writing. He doesn't just want his explosives to do the talking. He's crafting a manifesto, one that claims to explain what the mysterious string of bombings is all about. The Technophiles are taking us all on an utterly reckless ride into the unknown. Back at Harvard in 1958, the United States is experiencing huge shifts in culture. The button-up 50s are drawing to a close, and the nation becomes swept up in the space race, the civil rights movement, the sexual revolution, the environmental movement, the explosion of drug culture, and all the while, the Cold War is escalating. The American military is paranoid that communists have developed mind control drugs and brainwashing techniques, and they're eager to catch up, so they're covertly experimenting with ways to manipulate behavior. U.S.
And
intelligence
they were using acid as a means to do that? Oh my god, wait, that conspiracy that I said is sounding more and more realistic. Holy fuck.
officials are especially interested in developing a perfect truth drug for interrogating enemies, and they believe LSD might be it. But they're also testing a wide range of ways that psychological manipulation could bend the will of anyone to do whatever the U.S. military wants. They've even enlisted help from the Nazi scientists who experimented on Dachau inmates with hallucinogens and interrogation.
Oh, wait, the U.S. government enlisted a Nazi regime, officer to help conduct acid experiments on people?
Could bend the will of anyone to do whatever the U.S. military wants. They've even enlisted help from the Nazi scientists who experimented on Dachau inmates with hallucinogens and interrogation methods. The military illegally smuggles these war criminals over to get their advice on brainwashing.
What? I've never known that. I've never known that in the 23 years I've been on this fucking planet. The United States smuggled war criminals in? That is crazy. They hired Nazis into NASA. I know a lot of Nazis flee to Argentina, but I know a lot were involved with U.S. individuals, but I didn't know, I wouldn't say this is recent, but even, then, dude.
As part of Operation Paperclip. Over the course of at least 11 years, thousands of Americans are subjected to unethical psychological experiments that include sensory deprivation, hallucinogenic drugs dosed without consent, subliminal messaging, hypnosis, electroshock therapy, and even ice pick lobotomies.
Ice pick lobotomies. I was going to say I can't even imagine being put under an unknown amount of hallucinogenic drugs unwillingly. People have bad times on acid and mushrooms that want to take it. Now imagine being dosed with high levels of hallucinogens unknowingly and unwillingly. That is a recipe for you having a terrible time. No one's going to go into that experience being happy. You're going to fucking think you're dying. You're going to actually believe, demons are torturing you.
And that's just the stuff we know about. When the project becomes public knowledge in the 1970s, the CIA director orders most of the records to be destroyed. The program is codenamed MKUltra. Many of the test subjects are vulnerable populations, like prisoners and hospital inmates, but also students. Students are prime subjects for these experiments because of their frequent contact with professors who play a big part in MKUltra. Some of the professors know the role they play. Many don't. During the post-war period, the CIA becomes the largest employer of college professors, and the military is by far the biggest source of funding for psychological research. Professors acted as consultants and researchers for military-backed projects. They used their status to encourage their students to participate in experiments, often involving drugs like LSD. Afterwards, they reported back to the government. Harvard becomes heavily involved in Army-sponsored studies. One of the CIA's main men on campus is the superstar psych professor, Henry.
Dude, and the fucking students don't even know that. They think they're just fucking, like, getting a good offer from a professor they think likes them. In reality, the professor's just using them to report back to the fucking CIA.
Murray. Murray is well known for his studies of personality, and since the CIA's beginnings, his theories have influenced how they recruit new agents and how they interrogate suspects. When Murray and young Ted Kaczynski cross paths, Murray is at the end of his career, and he recruits Ted for his final, most elaborate experiments. They're meant to assess the effects of stress and harsh interrogation on gifted male students. Murray wants to know, what will it take to break an educated, intelligent man? The setup is simple.
I think less than somebody that's dumb. Do you think it's easier to crack someone that's smart or stupid? Smart. I think dumb people will follow orders better and not cave. Crack them? Yeah, like if you're trying to get info out of somebody, like through interrogation methods or something. I don't know. I mean, this is just me just fucking straight up guessing. I would assume, though, if, like, you were fucking strapped to, like, you know, somebody waterboarding you and you had an IQ of 160, you're more likely to fucking give up and just be like, I'll tell you the info, knowing that it's just, maybe not. Maybe they'll be like, it's not going to change anything. But, I mean, this is an experiment. We'll see. I got to shut up.
Because he's showing signs of depression. Ted's personal essay stands out as the most pessimistic of them all. It suggests that he was already vulnerable before the abusive test began. He is also the youngest and the poorest in the group. The students are told this exercise is just to study different personalities. In truth, now the real experiment begins. The essays are handed to lawyers trained in manipulation, who are instructed to attack the values expressed in them. The students endure harsh interrogations in brightly lit rooms. They face calculated personal critiques designed to humiliate and erode their sense of self. All the while, electrodes monitor their stress responses. Later, they have to watch these stressful and humiliating moments on video, over and over again, for 3 years. As Murray himself describes it, the tests
For 3 years? Why?
were designed to be abusive. He's had a lifelong fascination with pain and stress, and is known to have a sadistic streak.
Wow, and they don't even get paid for this. They're just doing this for their professor.
Plenty of participants will later report the experience to be deeply unpleasant, with lasting trauma. But Ted's responses are the most extreme in every category. Murray's team identifies him as the most traumatized of all. Yes, Ted Kaczynski got MK Ultra'd. You can read all about it at CIA.gov. In consequence, many claim the CIA created the Unabomber, but that's an oversimplification. It's not so easy to prove how much effect the experiments had on Ted's turn.
It's an oversimplification, but the CIA definitely made it worse. You could assume Ted Kaczynski still would have done things that were bad, but not possibly lived in a cabin in the middle of the woods sending bombs to people every day.
To terrorism. None of the other students in the experiment are known to have become killers. Some psychologists believe the experiments were stressful enough to create anger problems in Ted, or even aggravate latent schizophrenia. But other psychologists evaluate him as undeniably sane. Ted himself dismissed the idea that the tests were anything resembling psychological torture. He was very invested in being seen as psychologically healthy until the bitter end. He's taken great pains to not be painted as damaged or crazy. He wanted his murders to be understood in the context of his beliefs, not his personal history. If people saw his actions as a result of trauma or madness, it would invalidate his ideas. Ideas that formed his last year at Harvard.
Oh, so he was writing about doing this type of shit, or even just like his manifesto ideas in the last year before he was even killing people?
He comes to believe that technology is slowly destroying humanity and eroding our freedom. He's horrified by widespread psychological suffering and how industrial technology has severely damaged the planet. He's certain that it'll only get worse the more technology develops. So anyone who helps advance technology in any way is the enemy. Scientists, engineers, business people, what Ted calls the technician class.
So he killed a guy that owns a computer store because he thinks he's fucking advancing technological processes within the United States.
Society enforces obedience with psychological controls. He daydreams about breaking away from society and living off the grid. Ted graduates Harvard and goes on to get his PhD in math at the University of Michigan. He's quickly establishing himself as a brilliant mathematician and is offered a tenure track position.
Bro, he looks just like my friend. That's so fucking weird.
He's quickly establishing himself as a brilliant mathematician and is offered a tenure track position at UC Berkeley as their youngest professor ever.
His students don't like him very much, but he's publishing groundbreaking papers on boundary functions. But Ted resigns one day without warning. He tells his family that he's done with teaching math to future engineers who will advance the industrial technological system and continue destroying the planet. Ted buys a bit of land near Lincoln, Montana, and builds a cabin with his brother. He's ready to escape the advanced technology that surrounded him at UC Berkeley.
Do you think his brother knew?
He wants to live a simpler life, far away from everyone he's ever known. And then, he starts to build his first bomb.
Through our bombings, we hope to promote social instability. In industrial society, propaganda.
Yeah, because, like, is this, he keeps doing these chapters where it's showing quotes that seem like it's from his manifesto, and he keeps saying, our bombings. Who the fuck is our? That's multiple people.
Anti-industrial ideas, and give encouragement to those who hate the industrial system.
In 1993, the Unabomber strikes twice after a 6-year hiatus. Two prominent researchers, a computer scientist and a geneticist, receive packages the size of a VHS tape. The bombs detonate upon opening.
They were that small? A VHS tape is like about yay big. Maybe about yay thick. Like, even in that image, they're probably smaller than that.
And both professors are badly injured. Shortly after, the New York Times receives a typewritten letter.
How do you not die? You're opening a package right next to you that's fucking this thick and big, and you're badly injured.
Claims credit for the bombs and says the public should expect more to come. In 1994 and 1995, the Unabomber succeeds in killing 2 people with his mail bombs, an advertising executive and a forestry lobbyist. As feared, his explosives have become notably more sophisticated.
And that's the problem is, if it was so clear who he was killing or who he was attempting to kill, those people would probably get mail checkers or just stop opening their mail. But because it seems so sporadic to the general public, nobody's putting 2 and 2 together. Nobody's worried about their own mail.
Bombings are usually accompanied with demands for money or some kind of action. What made the Unabomber so difficult to understand and to find is that his bombs never came with any requirements.
Why did people keep opening the mail? That's why. Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bombs across the entirety of the United States to people that seem entirely unconnected. No part of you, regardless of what position you're in, is going, yeah, this guy's going to bomb me. So you're not worried about your own mail.
Finally makes his demands known. He writes the New York Times again, announces that he will permanently desist from terrorist activities if they publish a 56-page manifesto. The request kicks off a fierce debate within the FBI and the newspaper, to publish or not to publish. The FBI has a clear policy to not negotiate with terrorists, but they also believe he'll honor his promise and stop killing people. After all, this is what the bombs were seemingly for, to force people to pay attention to his views. Plus, they still lack leads. If the public reads the manifesto, someone might be able to identify the Unabomber, so the manifesto is published. The FBI decides it should just be the Washington Post, though, because it has fewer readers and the newspaper's stands will be easier to surveil. So they think. Interest in the Unabomber.
They're going to watch newspaper stands to think that Ted Kaczynski's going to come pick up a newspaper.
Is huge. Newspaper sales hit a record high that day, with lines snaking around the block. Across the country, Americans are eager to finally read what the Unabomber has to say.
Oh, yeah, I'd want to fucking read that shit. In the 90s, dude, some guys just sending a bunch of bombs throughout the United States. I'd be like, yeah, he just published a 50-page article on why he did it. I'd go, I'm going to go fucking buy that.
The manifesto opens with an iconic line.
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
And though the manifesto is an argument that calls for dismantling industrial society, it's also, unwittingly, a self-portrait. Within its pages, the Unabomber has accidentally unmasked himself.
Oh my god, because the government actually already has info on Ted Kaczynski, because they did experiments with acid on him where he obviously shared all of his opinions that he did fucking 10 years prior. And they're gonna go, this is Ted Kaczynski. This is the fucking 16-year-old that we gave acid that fucking freaked out at Harvard.
David and Ted, though 7 years apart and very different, grew up close and loved each other very much. As adults, they had impassioned philosophical debates by mail and shared a lot of the same views. David also worried about technology's destructive effect on humanity.
He'd also spent some time living off the grid in a self-made cabin. But David wasn't a killer. When the manifesto is published, he hasn't spoken to his brother in a long time.
Well, I think Ted Kaczynski's efforts were futile. They were meaningless. I think the point of view that Ted Kaczynski has on the world itself isn't necessarily bad. It's more so just, hey, you're never going to fucking solve that if that's what you think. Living off the grid and making your own life in nature and more peaceful is kind of the solution for you. You sending bombs to people in the mail isn't going to convince everybody that we need to halt technological advancements, dismantle modern society, and go back to our roots in living in cabins with fucking lanterns and no Wi-Fi.
Ted cut him out when David got married and refused to answer any of his letters. David's wife Linda, a philosophy professor, has a funny feeling about Ted, whom she never met. As the bombings stack up and some of the timings coincide with Ted's travels, Linda tells David, "You've got a screwy brother. Maybe he's the
Yeah, that's a rough thing to tell your fucking husband. Hey, I think your brother might be the Unabomber. You know how he keeps going on vacation and he talks about how the Industrial Revolution's bad, and then he publishes his manifesto, which is kind of the same thing. I mean, it probably made sense to his brother, though.
Unabomber." David doesn't want to hear it. Linda doesn't know Ted the way David does. He'd never kill anybody. As a kid, Ted used to cry at the thought of animals getting hurt. But when the manifesto is finally published, David avoids reading it. He doesn't want to admit the similarities.
Avoids reading it, that's definitely because he knows his fucking brother wrote it.
Like the Unabomber, Ted is an excellent carpenter, and that he had a lifelong fascination with explosives, and that some of the dates match up perfectly with Ted's travels.
What? Bro, how did the brother not immediately go, yeah, that's my brother?
David only reads it when Linda insists. His jaw literally drops from the first few lines. The killer, like Ted, also hates technology. As it continues, David recognizes idiosyncratic word choices and logical arguments.
Yeah, like his own fucking terms of speech. Oh my god.
There is no escaping the truth. Ted is the Unabomber. So after some moral qualms about betraying his brother, David alerts the FBI.
It's the right thing to do. It's obviously the right thing to do. I don't know. It's still just a shit situation. Knowing that your brother's doing that, it's still a shit situation to... Don't say L brother. It's the right thing to fucking do. But it's like, it's so shit having to turn in your brother. It's the wife.
They are bound to make me out to be a sickie, and to ascribe to me motives of a sordid or sick type. Many tame conformist types seem to have a powerful need to depict the enemy of society as sordid, repulsive, or sick. Lincoln, Montana, April 1996. With the tip from David, the feds are staking out Ted's cabin. The investigation is meant to be conducted quietly, but they're interviewing local townspeople, trying to collect more evidence on Ted. Right now, all they have is the linguistic similarities in the manifesto and old letters from Ted that David gave the FBI. Not exactly cold, hard proof. Enough for a search warrant, but not an arrest. Rumors start to spread around town that Ted Kaczynski, their very own angry hermit, is the Unabomber. The plan is to draw Ted out of his cabin and get inside before he can escape or destroy any evidence. But they don't know if he has it tricked out with explosives. Nobody would be surprised if he did.
Oh, like he was gonna blow up his own cabin? What, to kill himself or to get rid of evidence?
He has no idea he's under surveillance, so when someone knocks and says some land surveyors need to talk, he believes them and opens the door. He wasn't expecting visitors. These days, he's busy with a dirty job. He's in the middle of rasping aluminum blocks to make powder for more bombs. He's covered from head to toe in the dust. He's rail thin because the rabbit hunting was scarce this season. Ted's hair is wild.
He doesn't even buy food. He just fucking lives off the land entirely.
And his clothes are literally rotting off of his body. But what does he care? He's not trying to impress anyone, and he can clean up fast if he needs to blend into society. Too bad for Ted. He'll be photographed in this state, filthy, emaciated, and in severe need of a shave. The image will circulate around the globe and will not help Ted's desire to seem sane. When the feds swoop in, they find 40,000 pages of
Oh, like if he knew he was gonna get caught, he would have fucking made himself look more like normal.
journals and plans, most written in code. The code is more complex than anything the FBI had ever seen, more convoluted.
Wait, what was written in code?
When the feds swoop in, they find 40,000 pages of journals and plans, most written in
40,000 pages of journals written in code, like his own language? What the fuck would that possibly say? And why is he keeping that to himself?
code. The code is more complex than anything the FBI had ever seen, more convoluted than codes the KGB used during the Cold War. But Ted also left the key to the code in the cabin. Without it, the FBI wouldn't be able to decipher the decades of written confessions that definitively tied Ted to the bombings. They also find a bomb under the bed, ready to be mailed to an aerospace company in Dallas. Now the FBI has all the evidence they need. They lock up the cabin and take Ted to prison. He does not dispute that the journals with the confessions are his. In fact, he wrote them partially so that nobody would try to say he was crazy. Ted's family and his defense team attempt to convince the jury and the world at large that he is mentally ill. They're doing anything they can to avoid the death penalty, which frustrates him. He tries to fire his lawyers and defend himself. He would rather die than allow his lawyers to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. Ted pleads guilty to his crimes and is sentenced to life in prison. Behind bars, he never stops writing. He publishes 2 books and keeps up a lively correspondence with a wide array of journalists and admirers.
What did he look like with that? Not in that photo. I think that's what he would have rather had his mugshot look like.
He also finally makes some human connections. He strikes up a friendship with Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber who killed 168 people in 1995. Ted and McVeigh are briefly on the same prison block and find they have a lot of views in common before McVeigh is carted off to death row. Ted even finds love for the first time.
That's a very weird to be in prison as the Unabomber and meet another bomber and like bond before one of you gets sent to fucking death row.
The Oklahoma City bomber who killed 168 people in 1995. Ted and McVeigh are briefly on the same prison block and find they have a lot of views in common before McVeigh is carted off to death row. Ted even finds love for the first time in his life. After a lifetime of struggling to connect with women and never going beyond a few kisses, Ted suddenly has dozens of women writing him romantic or salacious letters. But only one captures his heart. A school teacher.
I never understand that shit. And that's with every serial killer ever. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Ted Kaczynski. They always have, like, just random-ass women obsessed with them.
Teacher he calls his lady love. They spend thousands of hours talking by mail or in visiting booths, but they are never able to touch. He writes classical music for her before she dies of lung cancer. Later, Ted also develops cancer. When the condition becomes advanced, he dies by suicide in June 2023 at 81 years old.
That motherfucker died 2 years ago? I thought Ted Kaczynski died, like, see, this is me having no idea anything about Ted Kaczynski. I thought Ted Kaczynski died, like, if you asked me before he said that, I probably would have been like, I don't know, maybe 2006. I would have thought that they either executed him or he got murdered or something. He died when he was 88, or did they say 82?
A political revolution. Its object will be to overthrow not governments, but the economic and technological basis of the present society. In the decades since his arrest, Ted Kaczynski continues to fascinate and sometimes inspire. The manifesto's central argument is that technological advancements since the Industrial Revolution have robbed people of their freedom and well-being. These advancements are supposedly responsible for widespread psychological suffering and environmental devastation. It's a revolutionary call to dismantle industrial society altogether and warns that technology will inevitably overpower human autonomy. Many of Kaczynski's observations in the manifesto are true. Some of his predictions are prescient, and a lot of the grievances are understandable. It's not hard to find people who are also frustrated with surveillance or
Yeah, it's not bad that he's saying technology has negative effects. It's more so his solution to that problem was terrible. I will say, though, that would ruin the purpose of human society in general. I think it would make the world more peaceful if we stopped technological advancement and kind of reverted back to, living like cabin life. But the issue with that would just be a lot of humanity in general, not that our universal purpose is for this, but a lot of humanity's purpose in general through society is just technological and, you know, societal advancement. Getting things that make life easier and better and more enjoyable is the purpose that not humans in general have, but society as a whole has. And to say that we just get rid of that would reduce everybody down to living the same life for thousands of years. Like, people 1,000 years from now would live an identical life to you, which would be, I don't want to say bad, but then we're not learning anything. And humans are obviously curious creatures, and that would just halt the capacity for us to flourish our curiosity.
Or sad about environmental destruction. At the time of his capture, Time magazine wrote, "There's a little bit of the Unabomber in most of us." Nowadays, Ted Kaczynski continues to find admirers online, from teens on TikTok, depressed about climate change, half-ironically saluting Uncle Ted, to the extreme right mass murderer, Anders Breivik, who heavily quoted Kaczynski's Industrial Society in his own manifesto. But even if most people can find parts in the manifesto they agree with, most people are not willing to kill. Kaczynski...
Yeah, I don't think the manifesto's points in general are related to the idea of killing people to achieve those goals.
...knew that most people would be repelled by his crimes, but committed them anyway. Those who find the ideas compelling might want to check out Jacques Ellul, the thinker whose ideas most inspired the manifesto. The philosopher never advocated killing. They also should check out Ted Kaczynski's diaries. They lay bare the personal motivations that drove the Unabomber, beyond the manifesto that was polished for public consumption. Technological society really did seem to anger Ted, but Ted was also very, very angry, in general. In his diary, Ted Kaczynski writes that he was happy to kill innocent civilians. He took pleasure in causing people pain. He killed at least 9 dogs just because they barked too loud. He hated...
Yeah. And Andy's lost me entirely there. Now that changed from utilitarian serial killing to killing for pleasure and hatred for just living things.
He hated leftists. He hated doctors. He hated women. He fantasized about killing them just for rejecting him. He fantasized about killing his neighbors just because they annoyed him, including a toddler. He condemned technology as slavery and glorified simpler times that ran on actual slavery. Kaczynski wasn't even much of an environmentalist.
He wanted to revert back to that? I thought he was saying that technology in general was the reason for humanity's downfall, and we need to go back to, like, a more, like, peaceful modern society viewpoint of, like, cabin and nature living, not revert back to slave times.
He made fun of them in his diaries. He littered proudly. He poached illegally. He logged unprotected lands. You might get the sense that he only used environmentalism as a post hoc justification for his murders. A cynic who identified ecological concerns as the most acceptable excuse for killing.
Wow. That was a fucking great video. Okay, more on the Unabomber. Why Shark Tank sucks now.
In the late 2000s, people viewed Shark Tank as more than just another reality TV show.
Hi, Sharks! Introducing lifted neurostimulation.
It was an outlet for small-time entrepreneurs to pitch their idea to millions.
What did I just make, Andy?
Pyramid scheme.
I would spray.
The problem is now the majority of, like, Shark Tank deals don't even go through, and most places are just using it as, like, a weird ad placement. And so you're basically just, like, sitting there purposefully watching ads. And people don't realize it. People are like, oh, I'm watching it because I love seeing what the sharks are going to say. But most of the time now they bring on, like, good products. And there's such a funnel down system now that most of the products that they bring are good. And that's not funny. It's the same like AGT. Like, the best thing about Shark Tank was watching products that sucked. And you know, ones that were, like, niche and cool. But a lot are such, like, tech-based products now. And it's just boring. They make a deal, and then if you actually look it up, the deal never even went through.
And every time you say I don't know, I'd hit you with an electric cattle prod.
In the hopes of getting a deal, making the big bucks, and living out the American dream.
That's what I love about money. No emotions, no tears, just reality.
But eventually viewers began to smell blood in the water, with murmurs of fake deals, sharks scamming the entrepreneurs, and vice versa.
I text them like, you're supposed to be working. Oh no, I'm networking. Next thing you know, all the money's gone.
People began to wonder if they've been fooled. Is it all just reality TV makeup?
They're not these.
They should really just flip Shark Tank from... They should full lean into it. They should flip Shark Tank from a genuine investment show to something where they bring on idiots that have the worst products ever, and they just offer $20,000 as seed money. And if you convince them that your product's good, they'll give you 20 grand. And that's it. And they'll get like 4% stake in your company. They already do that. Yeah, but most of the products are like, we're seeking $1 million for 15% of our company. Our company is some fucking random mulch business or some shit like that. And it's like, this is boring, right? This is boring. I don't need to see this.
Angels they're pretending to be.
Well, if you look at how the show used to be, the answer seems obvious. For example, in 2001, it's a totally different animal. Japan is just emerging from what they call the lost decade, a period of absolute economic ruin. The government sets up multiple initiatives to normalize risk-taking. One of these is a TV show created by Sony Entertainment and Nippon TV. They call
Wait, Shark Tank was ripped from Japan?
it Tigers of Money.
I would like to have $250,000 to invest in my business. A business I would like to have is the first and only fast food pizza business in Japan. You can sit at home, call on your phone, and the pizza come there. If you can't eat the whole pizza...
What? So ordering pizza. He's basically saying, like, we're going to have a phone-in pizza place.
Put it in the refrigerator, heat it up for later.
The premise is simple. Real people asking real investors for real...
See, but that's funny as shit. Because what a stupid... They don't have that in all countries. But it's not... He needs $250,000 to start that idea. All you need is a pizza place and a fucking car.
One was a little bit more like sort of Sergeant Major. You know, I'm the investor and you will do as I say.
He thinks somebody told.
No, okay, let me tell you why. Because no one has done it yet, doesn't mean that it's not successful.
皆さんにご説明したいのが
But it's a compelling premise, and the show gains a cult following.
The idea that the money might yield profit to the dragons was not really in the Japanese show. It was really more like a begging show in which business people begged for money, and if they were impressive enough, they got...
However, the creators...
And that's fucking funny, right? That's a good idea for a show. Hey, I have an idea. It's a spoon and a fork. I'm looking for $500,000. And then the investor guy goes, "You mean a fucking spork?" And he goes, "Well, I mean, we're still thinking of the name." No, that already exists. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I thought about it the other day. Some shit like that.
Realize that this show has even bigger potential over in the West, where entrepreneurs are becoming the new rock stars. So they cut the negotiations down to the most important parts and make the format similar to familiar shows like The X Factor. In 2005, Dragon's Den premieres in the UK, and in 2006 in Canada.
Picture this. You're a single individual watching television alone. Wouldn't it be great if you could find like-minded individuals that love to travel and found each other on Travel Acquaintance? Travel Acquaintance is a unique... You're looking at it all the wrong way. It's not it's not a dating...
Is it just a travel, like, hookup site where you, like, meet up with other tourists and hang out with them?
Service, we're not going to provide you with action.
Why not? Well, why would I use your service?
Reviews are mixed, but it's clear the show doesn't resonate with audiences in either of those.
Also, what an unenjoyable way to have a vacation. You get to a foreign country, and the first thing you do is go on an app or a website where you're like, anybody in Anguilla? ? Oh, your resort's only 30 minutes away. You want to hang out? and then you waste your whole day hanging out with a fucking stranger that might be a piece of shit. If you want to hang out with other tourists on vacation, just walk up to the guy on the beach that looks cool and looks like you'd be friends with him and go, "What's up, bro? You guys playing cornhole?" "Oh, yeah, man. You want to get in on the game?" Boom, you're friends. And you're done.
Those countries quite yet. So Sony decides to take the same trip our founding fathers once made, to a place where it most definitely will. Land of the free. Home of the My Pillow. In America, entrepreneurship is a cultural staple at this point. And after recently having some economic hardship of their own, the TV market is begging for something like this. Sony puts producer Mark Burnett in charge of creating the show.
With the executive producer of Shark Tank.
After having success with shows like Survivor and The Apprentice, which many argue paved the way for American competition shows, he's just the guy for the job.
It's about America. It's the American dream. You know, I've lived that American dream.
And in 2009, Shark Tank Season 1 premieres in the US. The show quickly skyrockets.
These ordinary people have the ideas, but these 5 self-made millionaires have the cash.
You give up 70% of your company.
And the only 2 people that ever do, or only 3 people that ever do anything on the show, Mr. Wonderful, Barbara, and Mark Cuban. Anybody else, they just sit there. Actually, the one lady that like owns that, what's the one other woman? She owns like, what is it called? Like QCP, Lori, what does she own? Lori owns what? It starts with a Q. She owns some television fucking marketing thing. QVC, that's what it is. Yeah, she like owns or has connections with QVC. She's like the only other person.
Ideas, but these 5 self-made millionaires have the cash.
You give up 70%.
Also, Mr. Wonderful having a cameo genuinely pisses me off. Like a self-made billionaire having a cameo where you can spend $1,000 for him to give me a personalized video just pisses me off. Why are you using Cameo? Why do you need that money?
Of your company.
And I think the reason it's resonated with fans is really largely the recession. So many people have lost jobs, and America is an entrepreneurial nation.
The show gives everyone a fair chance to prove they have the next big thing. Some show promise.
I think I'm going to take Daniel's deal.
Others show delusions of grandeur.
The Ionic Ear investment opportunity is a implantable Bluetooth technology. I'm looking for $1 million for a 15% stake in the technology.
Yeah. That's literally what I said motherfuckers ask for. Yeah, could I get $1 million? No. You want to fucking surgically implant Bluetooth? Bro, just get an AirPod. Wear headphones.
Who would you rather handling your personal belongings? This unprofessional, unlicensed, uninsured mover, or these professionally trained, enthusiastic college foxes packing boxes?
Either way, it's fun to watch.
I mean, I would rather have them packing my boxes. I'd rather have this guy carry a fridge. Like, they're going to be more careful with delicate items, but the fucking meathead guy is probably going to be the one that needs to carry my couch. Like, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but I'm saying, like, bro, I saw a mover, one guy. He was 6'5", 250, carried an entire couch by himself. That is so impressive. You are being stereotypical, I know. But I'm saying, like, to say you're going to have a moving business where you're just going to market, like effectively, their business idea is we'll have hot women move your shit. What's the marketing idea, right? We're going to have hot college women move your stuff. When you have a mover, you're not even there when they're moving your shit most of the time. You just kind of stand there or go do your own shit and let them get your stuff. They pack your stuff and do it for you, right? Like, why? This is just a terrible marketing idea.
College foxes packing boxes.
Either way, it's fun to watch. And apparently, it's even good for the community.
The problem is, right now, these people cannot get bank loans. I mean, you can barely get a mortgage right now, right? In 2010, 2011. And so certainly getting a small business loan is almost impossible. For many of these entrepreneurs with incredible ideas, these sharks are the last chance.
However, Mark Cuban's arrival.
That's not it anymore. It's never last chance. It's always like already successful businesses that just want publicity. I hate that. When they're like, hey, what are your sales looking? Hey, sharks, I'm looking for $100,000 for 5% of my company. oh, what were your sales like last year? 35 million. Why are you here? Why are you asking sharks for effectively chump change in your mind when you are already set? Your business is already successful. This is just an ad roll. You're basically getting a free ad where people are going to buy your shit.
In season 2 flips everything on its head, and fans get their first hint that the show might not be as charitable as advertised.
The minute we brought Mark Cuban, our first billionaire, onto the show, everything changed.
2 contestants who refuse offers to be on the show reveal that it's because at the back of their contract is a clause that states every contestant has to give the production either 2% of all their profits or 5% equity in their company. Most savvy entrepreneurs wouldn't be willing to give an automatic stake at their company just for appearing on the show. Mark hears about this and is outraged. He gives ABC an ultimatum. Either they remove the clause or he walks. Fortunately, they fold under the pressure and remove it, and Mark posts about his victory on Facebook. Fans applaud, but it turns out this isn't the only case where the show slighted entrepreneurs. In 2013, former NFL player Al Bubba Baker goes on Shark Tank to get help for his struggling boneless rib business.
Sadly, I married a woman that doesn't like ribs because they're too messy. So I vowed to find a way for my wife to be able to enjoy ribs. But how do you make ribs less messy? You take the bones out.
The show was putting itself out there as the American dream.
And the purpose for...
That's actually a good ass idea. I hate getting my hands dirty on ribs. That is a fucking great idea. I love ribs. I hate eating ribs. Ruins the fun? No. If I could pay for you to just give me ribs in a fork and just be like, they're already cut up, it's off the bone, love it. Chicken wings, love the experience. I don't want you to debone a chicken wing for me. I want the chicken wing. Ribs, though, it's big and clunky, and I'm going like, and trying to rip it off? No.
For marketing and, gaining capital, because that was a hard thing for us to do back around 2012.
You can't eat ribs? When I used to be able to eat ribs. Why do people got to be a dick about that shit? Yeah, I can't eat ribs anymore. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, Joe, you can't even eat ribs. I'm still saying it's a good idea. I've eaten ribs in my life.
We just come out of a bad economy.
His pitch is flawless, and he gets 2 offers.
So my offer is very simple. I'll give you the $300,000, but I want 49%.
That idea is so brilliant. I'll do the exact same deal, but I'll only take 30%.
Bam, Kevin.
This greedy savage, his deal is horrible.
He's never done a deal like this.
Al, let me clear
Kevin got a fucking diamond earring the price of a house.
it up for you. I think you're paying a very expensive price for somebody to make a phone call for you that you could do on your own.
Ultimately, he goes with Damon John's offer of $300,000 for 30%.
Well, he already had me at the first taste of the ribs, but then when he pulled out, the cherry on top was Kevin O'Leary, who, who's really not a bright guy, was interested into it, and I knew that I can make a profit, and at the same time as stabbing Kevin O'Leary.
3 years go by, and on the surface, Bubba's living the dream, and Damon is parading the business around as a $16 million success story. However, all the way in 2023, the Los Angeles Times comes out with a report where Bubba and his family claim that behind the scenes, what began as their Shark Tank dream has been a nightmare.
We thought we were on our way up, and unfortunately, it's been a downhill battle.
But before I just take the report at face value, I want to run it by the sponsor of today's video, Now back to Bubba. Apparently the problems start right after they finish filming the episode. Damon suddenly changes his offer to $100,000 for 35%. If you're in that environment, you're not asking a lot.
He was going to give $300K for 33%, $100K for 35%. What a terrible offer switch. He wants a higher percentage and a third of the money he gives in return.
He said, "It's Damon John. My wife and daughter would have killed me if I said I wasn't signing this."
She said, "Hey, Dad, our future's in your hands."
No pressure at all.
Damon then introduces Bubba to his friend Nate, a former Shark Tank contestant turned close colleague.
Damon, I'd be crazy to not want a partner like you. I accept 100%.
My man.
Who's gonna deal with all the technology
and they just
stuff?
seem like Sims, like the whole thing, the whole Shark Tank process just seems like Sim character shit. Damon, I'd be crazy not to say yes to you. It's like he's reading a teleprompter.
You know, the website, the advertisements, the bank accounts. We had never even sold one bottle of sauce on the internet. This was gonna be the genius to set us up. However, he only creates problems. First, on the day their episode is supposed to air, the website isn't ready to go until 3 hours beforehand. And while they do end up making around $250,000 in online orders, they have to
The day of they made, that's still crazy. They made $250,000 the day the fucking episode released. That already made the fucking money back.
refund nearly 14% of that because Nate fails to set up sales tax. Nate also has control over the business bank account, ignoring Bubba's requests for statements. When Bubba complains to Damon, he reportedly shrugs it off. I'm not asking you to kiss him. This is just business. Finally, the Bakers decide they don't want Nate a part of their business anymore.
There were a lot of red flags with him, and it took us some time to convince Damon to have him removed from our business.
When he eventually does leave, he decides to take one more thing with him. The Baker's bank account.
He wiped out our business bank account. There was about 100.
That's illegal. Is he? I understand they're upset about this. Shouldn't they be able to fucking sue him? They're like, he's just stealing their money.
And he mailed us a check for $8,000.
That's not good. They ask Damon where the rest of the money went, and he says Nate deserved it.
People are probably like, why didn't you just stop with Nick?
I'm now understanding why people don't accept deals from Damon anymore. He never really offers deals anyway. I'm now understanding why people don't work with Damon.
And it was because of me, because it was my dream and my goal. And my dad's favorite saying is always, I'd rather be the yeoman on a smooth sailing ship than the captain of a sunken ship.
Unfortunately, Nate is the least of their problems. 2 years go by, and Damon is parading the business around as a 16.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, they have it in the store. Like, is this just supposed to be like some TV dinner?
$1 million success.
Yeah, full rack, fully cooked.
Story. He says it's one of his biggest deals ever. But there's one problem. The Bakers say they ultimately receive just 4% of that $16 million. And that's not all. After a $5.8 million.
But how? They get I understand there's expenses, but Damon only has 33%. They only get 4% of their own company's revenue.
$1 million deal with Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. The Bakers yield a total of $2,900. Well, that's a
Oh yeah, I'd fucking crash out. Where's the rest of the money going? Is Damon somehow getting more?
Problem.
We're thinking to ourselves, hey, Damon, aren't you
They got a $6 million deal with Carl's Jr. and only got $2,000 out of it.
$1 deal?
Hopefully.
So we're thinking he's going to align with us to try to figure out a breakdown of where this money went from $5.8 million. Instead, Damon John band together with the co-packer, Rastelli Foods, to file a lawsuit against us because they wanted to move forward with a Subway deal.
Rastelli Foods Group is a family business with family values.
I hate when people say that shit. We're a family farm. We're a family business. 99% of the time, that's not true. 99% of the time, yeah, we're a family business because 3 of the fucking family members work at this fucking, whatever business you're running, meatball shop, farm. But it's just a big conglomerate business that's run by fucking 1 million other workers and generates $800 million in revenue. Get the fuck out of here. When I hear family business, I'm thinking of like a local Italian joint.
Family ethics. We have to make a very clear distinction. No one works for Rastelli. They work with Rastelli. It's a very clear distinction.
The Bakers say they're completely shut out of negotiations and accuse both Damon John and Rastelli Foods of trying to take over their business.
But you never knew at one time how much revenue you were actually generating.
Absolutely not. And there was no way for us to like log into a bank.
Was that even a part of the original contract though? That I feel like that's also just bad business proceedings with Damon outside of the show.
Storage was this month.
Eventually they come to a deal to settle the whole Carl's Jr. situation, and the Bakers have to sign a confidentiality agreement. However, by 2019, legal fees pile up. The Bakers are forced to sell their house at a loss, Bubba's restaurant closes, and his truck is repossessed. So in a last-ditch effort to try and get back what they feel is theirs, they break the confidentiality agreement and go public with everything. Needless to say, Damon isn't happy, especially since at the same time he's trying to break off his affiliation with Nate.
Nate Holzefeld.
Nate pleaded guilty to fraud,
affiliation with,
and sexual battery.
Registry.
Who's sentenced to 15 years in prison for multiple counts of sexual battery and having a side hustle where he would get girls on Tinder to sign their houses over to him, which he would then sell.
What? He would convince women from Tinder to give him their houses?
Unfortunately, the way this system works is that you do get a little bit hung before you're...
how would you even convince somebody of that? Like, I don't want to say the people that he was talking to had to be crazy, but for you to have a random guy hit you up on Tinder and then 2 weeks later, you to fucking give the deed of your house to that guy.
Or even tried innocent until proven guilty in America, and in part, thanks to KSL.
Well, you pleaded guilty.
Damon posts a video in response to the Bakers.
I'm making this video to address this LA Times article that Al Bubba Baker and Brittany Baker intentionally broke their confidentiality and put out and shopped to this reporter. And at best, it's not true, and that's me being kind. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to always stand up for yourself, no matter what position you get in life, just like I am. Don't sit back and think, oh, the truth is going to set us free because I have the truth, but I'm under confidentiality and I can't put the truth out there in detail.
But if they broke the confidentiality, wouldn't you also be entitled to do the same?
It also could potentially affect your family, your loved ones, the people that have worked on this project and invested in it. When your family's out there and because of public opinion, these people now, after the LA Times article is out, they're online damn near harassing me at this point and putting up a lot of falsities, and I will not stand for that.
He files a permanent restraining order on the Bakers, prohibits them from making...
What? Okay, now I don't know what to think. If that restraining order went through, he had to have some sort of thing to prove that. He filed a restraining order on their family?
Making any future disparaging comments and forcing them to remove all previous ones. However, in their lawsuit against him, he ends up paying them settlement money.
Practically speaking?
Oh, okay.
To me, to an outsider to that situation.
How did he get a restraining order on them, though, if he was the one in the wrong?
Well-versed in lawsuits, the fact that John paid the Bakers settlement money, to me, that means he probably did mistreat them in some way. Now, maybe he didn't, but again, that doesn't mean that...
Well, that doesn't mean that it's not going both ways. That doesn't mean that he does have the right to have some sort of restraining order, but he is also, you know, the one that was poking them to even act that way in the first place.
Now talk bad about him, because if he said that he'd pay them for, at least in part, silence, then they just got to shut it up.
Bubba's not the only one to run into a problem like this.
I mean, if you read the article, there was 2 or 3 other companies in that article.
As the years go on, the audience gets bigger, and so do a lot of other things.
I mean, it's a beast of a machine for distribution. So I've just found the deals are getting better and better every year, and this year...
Because they narrow them down more, and now it's only good products that are already successful, and it's boring.
...of the investors we can make, because the companies have sales.
The publicity factor alone becomes a huge draw. If I'm on the show, I'll be accepting any offer necessary to get the happy edit and the victory music. That just becomes a 15-minute primetime ABC commercial that would otherwise cost me millions of dollars. Then it gets replayed around the world in reruns, costing tens of millions.
Yeah, and even if you don't get a deal, a lot of them go in with like crazy ass numbers purposefully to not get a deal. Or they go in with very modest numbers, get a deal, and then behind closed doors they could just back out. Because just because they shake hands doesn't mean it has to go through. They still have to do a lot of legality work.
Millions more. This ends up coming around to bite the Sharks in the end. In 2013, the tank sees a pitch so good that all 5 Sharks invest. Breathometer. Breathometer. It takes the concept of a breathalyzer and turns it into another physical device that relies on an app to function.
And then it turns your phone into a real functioning breathalyzer.
Who would just get a fucking handheld breathalyzer? I have one. What the fuck? Why does every company have an app now? Why is everything about an app? And that's also why Shark Tank sucks fucking horsecock now, is because half of the shit is just too high tech. And it's annoying. It's just like people on like from Cali that are trying to start some new and improved app that's gonna change my life, but it's some run-of-the-mill fucking shithole fitness app that works the same as every other goddamn place. Why would I buy a device that I plug into my phone to tell me my BAC when I could just buy a device that tells me my BAC?
We want to carry one of these bulky old breathalyzers around. So that's why I created
a smaller one.
Breathometer.
I'm still not putting this in my pocket, man. The Sharks take the bait, each of them pitching in hundreds of thousands of dollars.
From the entire team of the Sharks. I'm ecstatic right now. I have no words. I'm shocked.
But soon it becomes clear Charles isn't quite the entrepreneur they thought.
You also got to think how many people are buying breathalyzers.
He was.
The guy, Charles.
That's not a big business.
I look at his Instagram and he'd be in Bora Bora. And I look at his Instagram.
this guy's
oh,
jumping off. Shit.
Yes.
What?
2 weeks later, and he'd be in Vegas partying, then he'd be on Necker Island with Richard Branson. And I text him like, what the yeah, so that was my biggest beating.
Do you blow up on these
So he basically took the money, ran, and didn't work for the business.
guys, or you just say, fuck
There's
it?
no point. Yeah, there's no point. It ain't gonna change. Ain't gonna.
Maybe he was testing the product though. He's probably testing the
He was
product.
testing the product. He was getting drunk in Bora Bora so he could see if the fucking app worked.
This would be a fair explanation. However, this is where things get even worse.
And the most important question is, are you safe to drive?
No, it turns out the device is having problems of its own.
That you don't blow into it. You just fucking go. Like I have like hot rice in my mouth and I'm like. That doesn't work, bro.
It's analyzing my breath right now, my whiskey breath. And it gave me a 0.00.
Wow.
Apparently, I have not had a single thing to drink. So that's actually one of my critiques of this thing.
In 2016, the FTC calls Charles, telling him they've received numerous complaints of false advertising, and that he needs to take the breath away.
Well, yeah, that's also unsafe because then some people might think that they're sober enough to drive. Because if you're at a 0.08, some people don't really recognize that as much. And it's reading that you're a 0.02. You might get in your car and that's unsafe.
Feature off of his breathalyzer app. Breathometer settles with the FTC over deceptive advertising. Of course, his angel investors wouldn't be too happy to hear this.
When we started this journey with you, it was breathometer. We were testing alcohol levels in blood. Now the information coming out of the company is almost completely different. New product line, new direction, new partners. What happened to breathometer? Is it still going to sell? Are you going to continue developing it? Or are you just going to throw it off the slate?
Rather than shutting down the operation, Breathometer, the breathalyzer company, decides to change markets.
Essentially, Breathometer is a breath analysis platform.
What?
We were looking to expand and go really deep into alcohol, but we realized that there was a much larger opportunity, like oral health.
What?
So we're moving into things like oral health care.
Minty fresh breath. I need to fucking get a product that I have to download an app with to tell me if my fucking breath stinks. Chew some gum, dummy. What?
Hydration, fat burning, asthma, even you can go as far as diabetes and lung cancer.
I basically can range and apply breath detection to a variety of things. Everything is extreme as to lung cancer, to diabetes.
I'm telling you right now, your product's not going to tell somebody if they have lung cancer.
Really? In the end, this doesn't work, and Breathometer is forced to refund all the customers. The lesson learned here? Well, the money certainly...
All 7 people that bought it.
...helped Charles's case. The publicity is all he needed to get his product off the ground. A shark recommending a product is basically a celebrity endorsement, and having packaging with the as seen on Shark Tank logo is enough for any product to fly off store shelves. Charles isn't the only person to take advantage of this.
Here's a really important message. Please pay attention.
QVC is also just a fucking piece of shit, dude. I understand it makes a lot of money on old people, but like the idea of just watching an entire television show that's just marketing me stuff, which is Shark Tank, but also just literally infomercials. I'm going to watch 7 hours of infomercials.
There are hundreds of scam ads out there using my name, my face, and these scammers are getting good. They're saying things like this.
Hello, Shark Tank here. I'm Lori Greiner. Dive deeper with the Shark Effect. Tune into our genuine keto secret. Hi, everyone.
Oh my God, Lori has a new keto secret product. That might be something I invest in.
Today, I will share a secret method on how to lose weight as quickly as possible without dieting or going to the gym. This is our only officially licensed product. Shark Tank in the house.
They are fake. They are scam ads. Do not pay attention.
Remember in season 1 when they had this intro?
These ordinary people have the ideas, but these 5 self-made millionaires have the cash.
Well, as the years go on, more and more of the contestants have both the ideas and the cash, and don't need much financial help at all.
The Lark bottle.
Yeah, they're just an ad.
It's the world's first self-cleaning.
And they already have like 9 other fucking investors.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Great.
You do?
That is awesome.
I do.
We raised our...
He already has the product. Damon already owns the fucking water bottle. But that'd be like actual Walmart coming into fucking Shark Tank and going, yeah, we're going to start up grocery stores. Dude, no way. I've shopped at your store before.
First round of venture capital in 2013 after we launched the app.
and then we raised our second round in 2015.
What has happened is we've gotten more and more sophisticated applicants, that most entrepreneurs that walked in the door in season 1 and 2 were asking for $10,000, $20,000, had no sale, but had a simple product and a dream in their hand.
The producers and sharks see it as a good thing. However, as the years go on, it becomes a noticeable trend. Longtime fans start to protest the change. I miss the old days when it was about people who were truly getting started and needed help, instead of everyone already having a $1 million+ valuation at the gate.
I'd like to thank you all for letting me take.
All right, that's basically the same point I was making. Now, if you have millions in sales, a client base, 30K customers, they don't even bat an eye at you. That's what I'm saying. They don't care about you anymore unless you already have a successful product. That's why Shark Tank sucks. Boom, video done. Editor, cut it. How Neuralink will change society forever. We haven't watched a video on Neuralink yet, and I'm actually pretty excited. Haven't the first Neuralink people, not Neuralink people, haven't the first experiments on real humans with Neuralink begun? Like, I saw a video of a guy controlling, he's like paralyzed, and he's controlling a mouse with his brain. How does that even work? That's what I don't understand.
Neuralink's recent showcase of their brain chip has made this new age of technology seem that much more real. In the oddly low-quality livestream, a man who is paralyzed from the neck down is able to control a computer cursor purely with his mind.
But how? Does he just sit there and go, like, what do you do? Do I think in my head, move A1, and it moves A? Like, how does that how do I determine what I want to move and how it moves? I don't understand that. Like, how do you control it with your brain? Yeah, but how?
But is it really the superpower he says it is? Or is it a marketing term to hide the truth?
And I don't understand Bluetooth. I still don't understand Bluetooth. You're telling me it just connects? Like, I just connect to a speaker, and whatever I'm sending just sends, like, waves to another thing, and then it starts playing on the speaker? I don't get it. I don't get it.
If you've seen Black Mirror or even really thought about brain chips, you'll know there's some dark possibilities associated with the idea. But as we've seen recently, Neuralink and other brain chip companies have been quick to focus on the medical potential.
How they get that in your brain, too? They gotta cut my head open? Or do they just drill a little hole and put it in? You know? Like, are they going, and then taking my head off, taking my skull off, and then implanting a chip in? That's so scary.
Playing chess, and so this is one of the things that y'all have enabled me to do, something that I wasn't able to really do much the last few years, especially not like
Dude,
this.
He's moving the mouse with his mind! How?
I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain. If y'all can see the cursor moving around the screen, that's all me, y'all. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yo, what if you started having some, like, random thoughts or some shit? You know, you got those intrusive thoughts. He just starts looking up, like, random things. Like, if it got that advanced, where his mind just starts, like, Googling shit.
And medical things aside, how does a brain chip in your brain allow you to restore your mental faculties? Well, right now, these chips, which are around the size of a quarter, can only read information and transmit it to an outside source. After being surgically attached to the brain, the chip sensors detect neuron activity and translate it into a digital signal. This can then be sent to external devices, which is what's been happening in the live stream. We see Nolan, the man in the video, playing chess by using the experimental chip. As he imagines where the cursor should go next, it responds to his thoughts and moves across the screen.
How does it read your thoughts? It has to be brainwaves, right? Like, it's reading like a wave as an input and maybe some sort of activity. How is it reading my thoughts? I don't understand that.
You can imagine the possibilities beyond this though, like controlling other devices like wheelchairs or anything else really, to walking again with prosthetics or even repairing the connection to people's own limbs. In fact, this is something we've already started to see from Swiss researchers that Musk has funded. In the middle of May of 2023, a neural chip implanted into a paralyzed man enabled him to walk again for the first time. One chip in his brain records the signals sent by motor neurons in his brain. This then links to a similar chip in his spine, which sends electrical signals to the nerves in his legs. Over a long period of training, Scam, who was paralyzed for over a decade, can suddenly walk again.
But is the walking the same as how we walk, where we're just doing it? Or is he actively thinking, move my right foot, move my left foot, move my right foot, move my left foot? Like, you can you can just go. and I'm not even thinking about it, right? Like I'm just moving my arms wherever, like it's just happening, and then I could go, oh, left, right, left, right, left, right. But I could just kind of like aimlessly throw them around.
For more than a decade, Gert-Jan Oskam has been trying to relearn to walk. A motorbike accident in his late 20s left him paralyzed from the hips down, changing his life forever. But now, Oskam is back on his feet, thanks to groundbreaking digital implants in his brain and his spine.
After 2 days, within 5 to 10 minutes, I could control my hips.
Although obviously it's still highly experimental and there's a few caveats. Can't be used constantly, only for a few hours a week, but it's still worlds away from nothing at all. And in this sense, Neuralink is amazing. Technology like this in the right hands and treated with great care can change the lives of millions of people for the better. But this is just a tiny part of Neuralink. You see, even Elon Musk has admitted that this isn't the primary purpose of Neuralink.
Even in a benign scenario, we're kind of left behind. You know, we're not along for the ride. We're just too dumb.
Right.
So how do you go along for the ride? Yeah, it's like you can't beat them, join them.
The real purpose, the true core fundamental reason, is for humanity's battle against AI. But of course, this isn't a very marketable
Wait, to like make us smarter than AI?
idea, telling people that they need to be plugged in to Elon Musk's brain chip to fight off AI just seems so ridiculous. And so right now, Neuralink and similar companies are focusing solely on medical research because this will be the only acceptable way they can make this technology mainstream in the first place. Because as the technology gets better, it will see far more use to treat patients with nerve damage and other medical issues. But at some
that
point,
looks like it fucking hurts.
it'll pass the barrier from being a medical tool into a genuine consumer product, just like an iPhone. And you can be absolutely sure that that's what Elon Musk and others like him have in mind. They openly admit it.
And we're already a cyborg to some degree, right? Because you've got your phone, you've got your laptop.
Would you do it? I don't know. If you could replace your body parts with hyper realistic parts, but they're like robot arms, would you do it? Yeah. Oh, fucking yeah. Oh, 100%. If it not, I don't want like metal arms, but if I could have like some cyborg shit, like I could have a fucking arm that is also like a flamethrower. Yeah, like cyberpunk type stuff, where it's like it's still real and you feel it and you can control it regularly, but it's basically just like a fucking hyper advanced limb. Unskippable brain ads. Yeah, that'd be awful. They just start playing fucking Taco Bell ads in my thoughts. Dude, if that ever, imagine if they did that. Like, we all got brain trips, and then it was just like, we all just started thinking about Taco Bell. I'd be like, bro, fuck off. Like, trying to get it out of your head. Want to break from the ads? Pay extra per month. And now we won't inject fucking Arby's we have the meats ads into your fucking brain.
Right now, there seemingly isn't much point, or any need, to beam a news article or a TikTok video straight into your brain, especially if reading it is far easier and far more natural, let alone way less dystopian. In the same way, it seems like a hassle to get chipped and play computer chess with your mind when a mouse and keyboard can do the same job. Having a hole drilled into your head and a brain chip implanted there doesn't seem like the funnest idea, let alone by a private company looking to make a profit, and God knows how they'll try and monetize this. Adverts directly beamed into your brain, your innermost thoughts sent off and monitored by foreign governments. And this is why tech billionaires and investors are going all in on this technology.
Yo, if they start monitoring our thoughts and then advertising things to us, oh my fucking God. That would be on a whole nother level. You know when you're having a conversation about something and then you look on your phone and like you have an ad for it and you've never fucking looked it up before or some shit? That always freaks me out. But imagine you're just like talking about something or you're just like thinking about like just an advert and then you see it, right? I'd be like, holy shit.
So let's go into this further through the lens of communication. Before telecommunications and all the innovations of the past few hundred years, you only really had two options for conveying complex information. Either you could say something to someone if they were close enough, or you could write them a letter. It could take weeks or even months for information to travel long distances. As time went on though, we slowly figured out faster and better methods, and that delay got cut down to almost nothing. Fast forward to today, and the internet means we can know about things happening across the world within literal seconds of them happening. In fact, the travel of information is so seamless and instant that we're assaulted with it at nearly every waking moment. So many of our experiences and the information we gain about the world is no longer from the actual world around us. Instead, it comes from this new digital dimension that we've been submerged in.
I still find that, I don't know, I find it less crazy. In comparison to the past, I find the idea that you could send instant, like, messages less crazy than the fact that we can travel across the world in less than a day when that used to take people years. Like, an average drive that you do that's 30, 45 minutes would take somebody 8 hours in 200 years ago to move that far. I mean, but then the counter argument is like, hey, you couldn't even communicate with somebody that was that far away. You would have to have somebody physically transfer a letter. That's even crazier. You would have somebody that was tasked with boating across the world to deliver a letter to you. But now you could just text someone. Like, a king wanting to talk to another king would have to hire somebody to go and deliver something and then deliver something back. And now you could just be like, yo, what's up?
Some people might say it's good to keep at least one foot in reality, but that's not the future being pushed by the people with real control over the world. They want a seamless connection so they can have more influence over people's lives, and therefore make way more money. The further we go into the digital realm, the more reliant we are on their products and inventions. Zuckerberg wants to make the illusion stronger and suck people in further through the use of virtual reality in the metaverse. The more immersive the experience, the more effective it is as a product. But Neuralink threatens to go one step further. Once they've solved the problem of giving information to the brain rather than just receiving it, that's the last hurdle to jump over. We'll be able to express our thoughts to other people and get theirs back within milliseconds.
You would be able to communicate very quickly and with far more precision.
Online content will get sent straight to your brain, and it will become like a sixth sense. This connection with the digital world isn't necessarily a good thing.
I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're all going to die before it gets really crazy. But say the world doesn't explode and we all don't kill each other, I think our grandchildren, like Gen Z's grandchildren, will be like half fucking integrated into a technological world entirely.
With the neural implants of the future, it would be pretty much impossible for internet addicts to resist being online 24/7. Apart from making people annoying to talk to though, this interconnection would only make the worst kinds of internet groupthink more common. It'll mean people are truly replacing their own thoughts with information given to them by the internet. Our brains naturally take the easy route whenever there's an option. It's an evolutionary adaptation designed to save calories and prevent us needlessly wasting energy. But just as it backfired in our modern world of junk food and cheap entertainment, it'll backfire again with neural implants. Easy access to junk food takes away the work you once needed to get that many calories, and it ends up eventually making the majority of people overweight and unhealthy. Around 50 years after the rise of fast food in the 70s, and the population is far weaker, more cancerous, less capable physically than they once were. And by doing the same to complex thought and cognitive skills, by giving people chips that do it for them, we risk the exact same problems. A world of people made dumber because machines do the thinking for them.
Yeah, I don't like, do you think we as a generation are smarter than boomers when they were our age? I think in broad knowledge, yeah, I think we scale quickly, but I think they had more on hand they could pull from their mind knowledge. I think we're applicably better, and I think we know and learn quicker than boomers did. But like, somebody in the 1940s at the age of 20 had a lot more on-hand knowledge than we do now. We're just able to rely on things to aid us that we don't know, right? We could fill the gaps easier than they could. They had less gaps. We have wider knowledge. If it continues that trend, obviously, yeah, we could scale, like, in terms of fucking how quick we can learn things and all that other shit. But ideally, or not ideally, but realistically, it could get to the point where there's not even need for you to fucking learn anything. Because anything that you would ever need done, you could just fucking get a computer to do for you. So then, I don't want to say I think Neuralink's good, but I think if you were able to implant, like, an AI knowledge into your mind and kind of not like effectively upload knowledge, that would not be bad. It would be a solution to the problem of, hey, we don't have, it would just make you know shit. You could abuse it, but I think that the idea of saying, hey, like, look, instead of I need to study for this test, I don't know this, you could just go boom and just like immediately wedge all of your biology knowledge into your fucking mind. Like, just immediately upload it. Okay, I know this shit now. And you just know it. Like, that would be good. What's the point of school then? You would fucking eliminate school. You would just, everybody would have an unlimited task of knowledge. You would just have to learn. Your school would just be uploading shit into your brain. School would still be there to socialize people, I think. Wow. Dude, the future's going to be weird. We're all going to be dead. But 200 years from now, I really think humans are not even going to really be like what the fuck we are now. It's going to be creepy. Like, society's just going to be, hey, I can fucking upload this into my mind. I would feel useless. I mean, you would feel useless, but why? Because you would have the same knowledge. It would remove the gap of smarts. That would be weird as well. If everybody could have the same knowledge, then there would be no differentiation in somebody being smarter than somebody else. Unless you use that memory, I think that's where critical thinking applies. I think you adding the idea of having to give people all the knowledge is one thing, and then it's just whether or not they can critically think. What about money? I don't know. I don't know how that would even work. A society? Fuck, man. Eventually, you could just have everything done for you. But then where do we progress, right? Society always wants to progress. You want to get smarter, more futuristic. Then what do? You got to go to other planets, realistically. Then we're just going to start, humans would just start fucking conquering other galaxies and shit. But that would be, we're going to be long gone.
You can imagine delegating parts of your thoughts to AI using these chips. You could use the chip to instantly work out how to split the check at a restaurant or recall specific details that you can't quite remember. Later down
All right, you gotta be a dumbass to not know how to fucking split the check and just do the tip. It's just math. It fucking takes you 10 seconds.
on the line, you can imagine people storing their memories and things they want to remember digitally, then calling back to them later on using the implant.
The International Monetary Fund has warned that 40% of all jobs around the world will be impacted by AI. It says the effect is even more pronounced in the developed world, where 60% of roles will be affected.
Some people can't even read? Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Fucking, we talked about that already. Chat, guess the percentage of the U.S. population that's fucking illiterate. I don't believe it. I read this statistic every time and I don't believe it. 21%. 21% of U.S. adults are illiterate. That's not possible. That's not... You're telling me 1/5 of the U.S. can't read. 54% of adults in the U.S. have a literacy rate below 6th grade. I mean, I remember hearing that, like, in the military, they have, like, the way they have the training set is that, like, a 3rd grader can read it. Like, you have to, if you're training a wide array of people to do something, it has to be, like, consumable by a 3rd grader. How can you not read anything? I don't get that. Like, the people in my chat can read. Some of you guys might have a literacy level below 6th grade, but you guys can fucking read because you're typing. There have to be, like, there's people that would be looking at my chat and it's like they're reading fucking Spanish. Like, it doesn't make sense. They don't get what's happening. How do you know? How do you live? How do you pass school? How do you fucking pass how do you pass middle school without being able to fucking read? You don't? Bro, somebody said Amish people. Bro, Amish people isn't 21% of the United States. Homeschooled kids? Bro, homeschooled kids are probably better at it. There has to be 21% of U.S. adults. That means there's kids in y'all's high schools that can't fucking read. At all. At all. They can't read. They don't know how to read. What are they? So when they open their book to page 10 with the rest of the class, what the fuck are they doing? Just staring at the words, confused? Dyslexia. That's not illiterate, bro. Dyslexia means you're going to mix up fucking letters. You can still... To be dyslexic, you have to be able to read. If you can't read at all, you wouldn't know you're dyslexic. Why are there so many illiterate adults? We're reading a Quora post. PIAAC defines literacy as the ability to understand, evaluate, use, and engage with written text to participate in society, to achieve one's goals, and to develop one's knowledge and potential. 4 in 5 U.S. adults have English literacy skills sufficient to complete tasks that require comparing and contrasting information, paraphrasing, or making low-level inferences. 1 in 5 U.S. adults have difficulty completing basic literacy tasks, meaning they can't compare info, they can't paraphrase, they can't reference things that they've read. 43 million U.S. adults have a literacy level have low literacy level skills. 26.5 million at level 1 and 8.4 million below level 1, meaning they can't fucking read. 8.4 million US adults can't fucking read. 26 of them can read, but they can't fucking read well. Like, at all. Like, that of, like, a first grader. Dude, like, how are you 45 years old and you can't... I don't understand that. Dude, 8.4 million people in the US can't fucking read. What? I gotta move on. I'm just gonna sit here flabbergasted by this.
You can do a lot of this with your smartphone already, but as the technology progresses, it will give people who can afford it a leg up on everybody else, making their IQ be slightly higher at all times than the rest of the population. Even when it does eventually become accessible to the general population, those at the top will have been ahead for years. For the entirety of human history, the difference between the rich and the poor has been limited to external factors. Things like a better diet, education, and an easier, healthier lifestyle make a difference, but we're all still human. Given the most powerful people of all faster and more effective brains, changes this dynamic forever. It'll make climbing up the ladder almost impossible because all the people above you are just inconceivably smarter, using a brain chip in their mind, allowing them to have access to tools you could only imagine. The hands.
How do they get a fucking driver's license? Hold up. I was playing the video and I stopped fucking thinking about it. How do you drive? You have to pass a written test to fucking drive. How do you do anything? I don't get it. What the fuck? Like, dude, you have to pass a written test to fucking drive. And you have to read it. Take the bus. Bro, okay, yeah, public transportation. I guess. Oh my God. Like, oh fuck. Oh my God, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Text to speech? They're not going to let you take it like that. If you go to the DMV and you're like, hey, I need to take a fucking, I need to get my license. I don't know how to read. They're going to say, well, you shouldn't be driving. Or say you are illiterate and you somehow get a fucking license and you're driving. Exit 8. What is that? I don't know. 50 mph. Now, what's that? I don't know. Check engine light. What does that mean? What the fuck? They read it. They can't read. I don't...
Well, it's a sad fact that the world is sliding towards autocracy and dictatorship. As of 2022, over 70% of the world lives under some kind of dictatorship, a statistic that's still growing today. We're seeing this rampantly across the world, and even authoritarianism within the US itself. And as we've been warned by books like 1984, which we did a huge video on, which you can check out here, I explain that we're now seeing 1984 in our own world. Dictatorships are happy to exploit the tools of control that technologies give them, just like China or Russia's mass internet censorship, or their facial recognition cameras aimed at every street corner. As our lives get more and more intertwined with technology, the degree to which they can be controlled by outside forces only goes up. So what happens when we put technology straight into our brains? Well, there's a lot of disturbing possibilities. For centuries, authoritarian governments have dreamed of the ability to control the thoughts of their citizens. They could do it indirectly through propaganda, social pressure, and fear, but Neuralink and other technologies like it could make this a reality. Sure, we can only really read motor functions and basic commands that go up right now, but that's all gonna change very soon. Even though we have around 100 billion neurons, this isn't as hard as it seems. Our current AI models, while limited in a bunch of ways, excel at sorting through and noticing patterns in massive databases. In fact, we already have AI models that can translate silent thoughts into words on a screen. Subjects wearing a special cap which monitors brain signals could see their thoughts expressed in front of them with up to 60% accuracy. They would read the sentence slightly and the
street signs are made in specific shape and color and teach them those. They can read numbers still. Yeah.
AI could tell what the sentence was without any other input.
These neuroscientists at the University of Texas in Austin say they've made a major breakthrough. They've figured out how to translate brain activity into words using artificial intelligence.
And you can't expect dictators not to salivate over the idea of just this. If that's not a cyberpunk dystopia, I don't even know what is. Imagine a world where just thinking the wrong thing could get you jailed for hate speech. These are all problems for the future, but what about right now? We're already seeing some of the potential issues that these implants can create, even just as medical treatments. Retinal implants are similar to neural implants, but instead they act as a replacement for damaged optic nerves. It's an amazing technology which can give rudimentary sight to people that thought they had lost it forever. But some people who've had these implants had their sight cruelly taken away again. In one case, a woman received an optic implant to fix a genetic condition which made her blind, but 4 years later, it suddenly stopped working and shut down, plunging her back into darkness. The company who made the implant had completely stopped supporting it and weren't willing to help at all. Another company has recently taken up the technology again again. So in this specific case, all hope wasn't completely lost. It won't be that way though all the time, and lingering questions about the difficulty of upgrade and the lifespans of implants still plague the industry today. And these are just some of the many problems that neural implants and this technology could bring to the world. But I don't want to go full on conspiracy mode, considering this technology has only just been tested out on humans. But we haven't even dipped into the problems with actual mind control.
Bro, where you fucking implant it into an animal and get them to fucking understand you. I know their brains, so I feel like if you get to the level, if you get this in depth, you could do something to where you could get... obviously, the fucking genetic makeup of an animal's brain is probably not going to enable them to learn a language, so there's probably a bunch of jump arounds there that would make it not possible to fucking enable an animal to understand you. However, that would be crazy. If you had like if you had a highly intelligent like dolphin and you implanted something into their brain, you could possibly get them to understand something.
You might not have any choice but to have a government-mandated chip implanted into your skull. But even in developed democracies, we must be wary not to sacrifice any more of our...
And would you do it when they're a child? I feel like that'd be unsafe, because your brain grows alongside your skull. So I'm thinking that you would have to... It would be like when your brain stops growing, they would implant the chip, which would be 25. So I wouldn't even be eligible for a brain chip yet.
our freedoms.
You're not gonna get me yet!
That they...
Dude, and I remember they have some stuff that's like you could have it on the outside of your ear. And I read something about that, and it does something similar. Not nearly as good as Neuralink, but it can, like, read your brainwaves. Like, I feel like I would do an outside thing that I could take off if I didn't fucking want it. But you implant a brain chip in my head, what if I don't want it anymore? No, I just got it. That would fucking suck. Alright, next video. Tourists ruin everything.
Welcome back.
What the f?
To the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down because today we're talking about tourists. God. I'll tell you something. Tourists are terrible. And I feel bad because I'm getting ready to be a tourist soon enough in Japan. My fat...
The different types of tourists is what you need to make note of, though. There's annoying tourists and there's normal tourists. People that, like, f with people in... you know, an area that's not where they're from, or with people in general, or disrespecting cultures, or invading privacy. Yeah, those tourists are assholes. But if you're just somebody that's like, hey, I want to go see Japan, I want to go experience Thailand, or Iceland, or Norway, like, I don't think those people are assholes to want to travel.
We're soon enough in Japan. My fat is going over there, and I tell you, I'm going to have the utmost respect for everything that I possibly can, but I'm sure it's impossible to be totally, 100% culturally respectable when I'm sure I'm maybe doing things out of the norm that are accepted over here. I don't know, but all I do know is that historically, online, tourists are some of the worst people imaginable, most entitled.
Oh god, the selfie stick. Dude, go to Washington, D.C., man, too. That's like the only experience where, that's the only time where you experience annoying tourists in the U.S. is D.C., where there's just, like, you're literally trying to take a photo or have a conversation, and a motherfucker just runs up to you and just gets in front of you, starts taking their own pictures and videos, and they're like, oh god. And it makes you understand why people hate Americans.
Old pieces of shit you've ever seen.
New York. I mean, New York City's so big though that you don't really notice it.
Walking around, desecrating cultures, not really giving a good god about anybody but themselves. Cringy. I just want to talk about some of the terrible things that tourists have done in the world. Hell, there's probably
Boston, bro. It sucks. I don't know. I haven't really seen that many. I'm trying to picture where I see a lot. Where do you see a lot of tourists that come to the United States? DC, New York City, LA, maybe San Diego, yeah, Boston, Disney World in Florida, yeah, maybe Yellowstone, yeah, Times Square for sure, but that's also just crowded always. Bro, Atlantic City! Atlantic City! Every summer. Oh my god, chat, listen. Every summer, bro, because I fucking gamble all the time and I go to AC. I'll go to AC's beach and I swear to god, I will see tourists come out and take a picture of the dirty brown poop water. And they're happy. And I'm like, you chose to come here? You like, I'm here, but that's because I'm from New Jersey. It's like a hour and a half drive. You're telling me You flew from another country and came to Atlantic City. Out of all places, go to Vegas. Yeah, go to Vegas. Atlantic City's a shithole. Half of the casinos are out of business. The only one that's really doing well is Ocean Casino and Borgata. And they're doing great. Every other one's in the gutter. There's crackheads everywhere. There's heroin. There's needles on the beach. There's needles on the beach.
Probably a long list that I don't even have myself, but these are some of the ones that I just wanted to talk about. Starting with our good friend.
But I love Atlantic City. You can get drunk on the beach. Oh, it's like you're in a shitty Bahamas. The ocean's worse, the sand's worse. Everybody's a dickhead, but I could get hammered on the beach. Can't do that in many places. Not allowed to get drunk on most beaches in New Jersey, and they have bars on the beach. Yeah, the drinks are $35, but they got a Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville. They got a Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville 40 feet from the beach. I can walk in and hear Margaritaville, and then I go, Am I in the Caribbean?
Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali is a well-known IRL streamer whose claim to fame is
isn't he arrested in South Korea right now?
Being an unrelenting, unapologetic troll.
Why are you being racist to other people in other countries? For money, for clout.
I've said it many times. I don't give a fuck. I have no morals. I'm a sociopath. I don't give a fuck.
Swing on it. I'm a troll, dude. I'm just messing around.
He became
I genuinely think that's a lot of popular Kick streamers, though, is just being public nuisances for clout. Especially like up-and-coming streamers that don't have a following yet. You have to do extreme things to get followers there.
Known for traveling around different countries.
Especially with the lack of user base on Kick. Dude, and Kick is going downhill now. They're losing everybody. Everybody's either going back to Twitch, stopping streaming, going to YouTube. All the people they signed said they fucking hated it.
Harassing innocent people. And on his trip to Japan in 2023, he was seen repeatedly making racist comments and referencing the bombings of Hiroshima and
yeah, dude. I saw videos of him in like not like a 7-Eleven, but a convenience store where he was just blasting music and just being a for no reason. Just a regular family business where they're just trying to, you know, work their 9 to 5, go to bed, have a nice day. He's just sitting there being a kid.
Nagasaki to innocent Japanese locals, just being a real piece of shit.
Oh, it was in Japan.
Good. At one point,
I thought it was in South Korea. Who got arrested in South Korea? There's so many streamers that are getting arrested in either South Korea, Japan, the Philippines. It was him. He got arrested in South Korea too. No.
While on the train,
he did both.
And he taunted several passengers about how they were, quote, going to drop another atomic bomb. He did this yet again to Japanese workers.
And who's watching this motherfucker, though? Who's getting done their day at work and going, oh my God, Johnny Somali's live? Oh shit.
On a construction site before being screamed at and forced to leave. There was another incident inside of a restaurant in Osaka where Somali went live and purposely
this is what I saw.
Blasted music from his phone to annoy workers. And this led to a $1,400 fine for, quote, forcible construction of business. Which this led to a...
Bro, but it makes us look like assholes. It makes people hate Americans so much. Because it's like, there's just fucking 10 people that really are nuisances. Jack Doherty? Well, I don't even know if Jack Doherty's gone abroad.
A $1,400 fine form, which is probably just a slap on the wrist.
This little troll. They asked him, like, are you making money off this? He's like, no, I don't make any money off it.
I don't make any money. I swear to God. He was found in Tokyo Disneyland Resort playing racially insensitive music to locals and filming their reactions without
oh yeah, what an active chat. One guy.
Their consent. On many occasions, Somali's actions have led to him being assaulted by locals. Not only do internet onlookers approve of this, but Johnny himself seems to love the notoriety that comes with inciting the violence. His repeated bad behavior eventually led him...
It is not worth... Is that in one stream or total? It is not worth 234 subs to travel across the world, if that's the total sub count. That's total? That's not total. 234? No. Bro, that doesn't even cover the fucking flight and hotel.
To love the notoriety that comes with inciting the violence. His repeated bad behavior eventually led him to be banned from Japan.
Aww. If anything, you can get banned from a country.
See, I bet this dickhead, I bet he's like, hey, that's awesome. I'm banned from a whole country. epic. But instead of learning his lesson, he traveled to Israel to continue his tirade in March of 2024. In Tel Aviv, he would continue to harass people to the point where he was chased down and beaten yet again.
Ow! Hey, don't touch me, man. Hey.
Then 2 days later, he was detained for sexually harassing a female police officer.
You a bad.
I'm just surprised none of these influencers like genuinely get curb stomped. Like going up to other people in a foreign country and just harassing them. Like they don't bring you in the back of an alley and like borderline kill you.
Bad bitch, I swear to God. You a bad bitch. I'll take you to dinner.
It's a prank. It's a joke. After the Israel trip, Johnny tweeted that he was going to travel to South Korea next and threatened to slap a member of the K-pop group BTS. During the visit, he kissed and performed a lap dance on statues of peace, which are meant to honor victims of Japan's wartime sexual slavery during World War II. So twerking and kissing it and joke around.
Dude, the thing is like, do you think he's making enough money to retire him when he's done? Because he's not going to get hired anywhere after. It's the same thing with me, but him on an extreme stance. You know what I mean? Like, he, in general, doing social media removes your capacity, unless you're kid friendly, removes your capacity to get a 9-to-5 job. I don't see him making enough money to where if he does this for 4 years, he could retire himself or open a business with investment money. Like, people ask me what I'm going to do when I'm done stream. I'm going to fucking invest in something to try and open my own business because I'm not going to fucking be able to work a 9-to-5. But regardless, it's just, I don't know, man. He's not, the benefit is not, even from a sociopath standpoint, what he's gaining is not overweighing the downsides.
Played obscenely loud noises on a subway, such as speeches by Kim Jong-un and North Korean propaganda music. Verbally assaulted a convenience store employee after he was refused alcohol. Then assaulted another lady by throwing an unknown liquid on her and slapping her camera out of her hands. Can we just say, great guy? Can we say that real quick? Just take a quick pause. Thank you for being such a good human being. Appreciate you.
Wait! We want to thank today.
Dude, there's going to be like a news line where he gets like shot and killed in a fucking country, dude.
/Papa Meat, PDSDead.com. Back! So now locals have been actively making the effort to find Johnny's whereabouts and teach him a lesson.
No! Dude, there's people in the countries that he goes to that are tracking him down while he streams.
Back! So now locals have been actively making the effort.
Oh my God. Wait, that actually just ruins. Not only is that him possibly getting killed, but also now he just can't stream because he's going to be constantly in fear of him getting, you know, hunted down on the street.
To find Johnny's whereabouts and teach him a lesson. I hope it's probably worse than just beating him up, because that just he doesn't seem to give a shit. Gets beaten up and he's just like, radical. The first incident was when his phone was punched out of his hands by a man who had been watching his streams to find his location. Stream sniping became a regular occurrence for Somali during this time. Then Somali and his friend Jindo were jumped and assaulted by a group of people soon after. Even groups of Korean YouTubers began hunting him down. And at one point, every single one of them went offline at the same time, rumoring that they had just located him via his stream and prepared to attack. Didn't want to...
Yeah, because they can't stream them assaulting someone.
Make it easier to get in trouble for beating up this piece of...
Honestly, I wouldn't even beat him up. I would say just grab his camera and football spike it. Because then he's in a different country. It's going to ruin his stream. And then now he's just not making money. Like, you grab his camera, grab his mic from his lavalier mic, and just break it.
Shit. On Halloween, Johnny was punched in the face out of nowhere by a Korean YouTuber who was fed up with Somali's actions. And apparently, the assailant is another YouTuber by the name of Yoo Dal-gyeon, an ex-MMA fighter and UDT, the Korean equivalent of like a Navy SEAL, who was specifically hunting Somali down. Motherfucker is getting some legitimate heat. I love it. Most recently, on October 30th of 2024, South Korean parliament caught wind of Somali's antics. He has since been banned from leaving South Korea as an investigation began.
Is he still in South Korea now? Johnny Somali's been banned from leaving South Korea as the streamer faces over 10 years in prison.
Regarding illegal drug use and assault charges. South Korea has intense laws prohibiting illegal drugs, and Somali may face up to 10 years for this crime. Meanwhile, the assault can lead to the max sentence of 2 years. In total, the potential fines for both crimes may reach up to $76,000. Don't let him leave. Just keep him around for a while. Throw him in a cage. I don't know. Do what you have to do. I'm a troll! I'm a troll! Some guy just comes over and is like, elbow drops on his head. But this is just one of the more notable cases that happened recently that kind of led for this video to be made. And even it's weird getting ready to go to another country and to even think that you're like
I don't want to say I understand public nuisances more in the US, but you can get away with doing that shit in a country you're from, especially the US, easier. How does he not fear like that? What's happening right now is the fear that other public nuisance streamers have for why they don't do what they do in other countries. You could be a dickhead in public in the US. Worst thing, yeah, you get a misdemeanor. But if you go to a foreign country as a non-citizen and you fuck around, like, you might get thrown in jail in a foreign prison.
Going to a country that you don't speak the language, it's not your culture. It's almost like being invited into your friend's house for the first time and you're just kind of like completely, you don't want to touch anything.
I don't think he would get arrested. I think if he went to Russia and did that, I think somebody would kill him. I don't think somebody would kill him. I think he would mysteriously disappear and die. If Johnny Somali went to Russia and tried to stream and be a nuisance, I think randomly one day the stream would cut out and I think we would just get wind of it 3 years later. Oh, he died of a heart attack.
Their dad's like sitting in the lazy boy just looking at you. You're like, I'm just here to hang out. So not a big deal, right? You can't stay for dinner. Or we could talk about Americans harassing Japanese geishas. You ever see that movie, Memoirs of a Geisha? DVD cover scared me when I was a kid. It actually did. I just saw like The Grudge or something like that too, and I was like, huh. It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. In Kyoto, Japan, there's been a serious issue with what is referred to as geisha paparazzi. Geishas are women that are trained in traditional Japanese arts like singing, dancing, and playing music, and they often perform entertainment for wealthy clients during parties. As they walk along the streets of Kyoto, tourists rush to take photos of them. I mean,
see, like, who the fuck is this woman, bro?
Parties. As they walk along the streets of Kyoto,
doing a fucking, like a turtle walk
to take photos,
to take a fucking image of this woman. How weird that is too.
Of them. I mean, that
just taking pictures of random strangers.
Video of that woman, that fat woman, like she's like keeps getting up and she keeps taking photos, so she has to keep running up. The geisha is definitely just like walking in paths like, please stop this, but too weirded out to say anything. Good God. Maiko, or teenage geisha.
And why is it old people, bro? Like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's more forgiving, but there being like a dumb teen or like a young person doing it in their 20s would make more sense than like a 50, 60-year-old woman that's had life experience and recognizes like, hey, maybe you shouldn't walk up to random people and take pictures of them.
Apprentices are very young, making it even more inappropriate to treat them as some sort of attraction. And in 2019, the Gion, a historic neighborhood in Kyoto, pushed to ban photography. And in 2024, Kyoto has now banned
fine up to 10,000 yen. How much is that in USD? $63. Yeah, up the fine a little bit.
Tourists from parts of the
$63
Geisha district. You can't go there anymore because people are just the worst. Because they're just like, look at you, so cute. This was due to the rise of aggressive tourists going so far as to chase down women and tug at their kimonos desperately to take photos. Please stop! Some would even pull out their hair ornaments and hit them with cigarette butts. The locals fear that the over-tourism after pandemic...
Dude, that's also just like, why do you need to take a picture of them? Obviously, it's something that's not it's not something we casually experience in the US. But I mean, in that aspect, if I'm walking down the street of Japan and I see a woman going to perform, I would go, oh, that's cool, and I would absorb the experience and move on with my day. I don't understand the whole idea. Like, obviously, I vlog my trips, but my vlogs are really shitty a lot of the time because I also want to experience the trip myself. I don't want to experience it through a camera. And that's also why I bought a GoPro, so I could just strap that shit to my chest and walk around and forget about it. Because I don't want to say it ruins the trips. If you're going to experience a concert, a show, a comedian, anything for that matter, or even tourism, and the whole time you're just filming shit, it makes it as if you didn't even go there. It's like you went there, but you're living through the video rather than you living the experience and just remembering that.
We'll continue to...
Especially if it's like something cool alone. Have you ever had like a nice sunset alone? That's such a nice experience to value. Sitting on the beach alone, seeing a nice sunset or whatever in your car, and you're just... I don't know, man. Don't take a fucking picture of it. Absorb it, and that's for you.
It caused further harassment as well as increased in litter. Yeah, of course. Can you imagine being like, let me take a picture? Do you think that's people being like, all right, fine, you, and flicking at you to get their attention? Hey! Did I scare you? Did I get you?
Well, a lot of times they're like this. Like, don't look at me.
My God. Nick is going to Japan with me. I got to keep an eye on your ass, dude. That was unbelievable. Or we could talk about tourists leading to animal harm. Are you having a good day? I'm here to ruin it. I hope you're having a bad day now, because that's what this video is trying to do. This is a comedy video, I swear. Not only do bad tourists lead to locals being harassed, but in many horrific cases, their needless, selfish actions have led to the direct harm or killing of wildlife. Make sure to keep that smile up. You smiling? Let me see that smile. Buckle up. We're gonna talk about animals dying.
How are people killing animals as tourists, though?
Like the death of a baby dolphin. In 2017,
what? Oh my God. Oh my God. They took it out of the water. Obviously, yeah, like breathes air, but they're just mobbing it. They take it out of the water and start hoisting it up like they're at a rock concert.
A baby Francicana dolphin was found on its own on a resort beach in Mojakar, Almeria. Is this the Chronicles of Narnia? Where the is that in the world? Near a large group of tourists. Oh, good God. The small animal was separated from its mother and was weakened and afraid.
No.
Was certain as a few short interactions and photos by the tourists became much more chaotic. Soon, a swarm of people surrounded the dolphin to pick it up, pet it, and pass it around to let everyone take selfies with it.
Bunch of dumb kids. I would scream at my kid. If he went to go touch that dolphin. I'd be like, back the f up. Put that thing back in the water. Why are you holding that? Oh, let me touch it. Oh, look at its snout. Because kids are stupid and they don't understand. They don't understand. Have you ever seen a kid try to like pet a dog or a puppy? They're not gentle with it. Every single time they're like, oh, look, a dog. They don't understand, like, dude, you're gonna shatter its bones.
With it. This photo is haunting. That is horrible. I'm sick to my fucking stomach, dude. As they cannot stay out of water for very long, the baby dolphin eventually died due to dehydration. In some of the
oh my God.
photos taken early on, you can see that children were covering its blowhole.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's breathing through this. Oh. Some that pisses me off, dude.
To marine wildlife rescue groups, the dolphin was scared for its life the entire time and could have been easily saved if authorities were alerted upon its discovery. It was also noted that the Francicana dolphins are an endangered species.
The threatened species only exist in a few Latin American countries.
Bro, honestly, though, it's these two dads, bro. The ones that are holding it right now, and then everybody's crowding around it.
And with fewer than 30...
Why didn't they look at it in the water? That would make more sense if he held it in the water. This motherfucker took it out of the water and went, I have a dolphin. Look.
30,000 left in the water.
I'm honestly, I'm getting fucking depressed. Did we have to include that the fucking children were covering its blowholes, dude? Can we not have just left it with the fucking selfie, the dehydrated selfies, dude? You just had to be like, also, the kids were putting their little fingers in its blowhole. It couldn't breathe.
Yeah, couldn't breathe. They were fucking suffocating it. The news reporters should go up to those kids and be like, you killed that dolphin.
Oh, good. Let's talk about the death of a seal. Pup. In 2022, 2 tourists killed a baby seal pup in an attempt to take a selfie with it.
Wait, they killed it and then tried to take a selfie with it?
Tourists killed a baby seal
after trying to take a selfie with
pup in an attempt to take a selfie with it. Why do people
I wouldn't touch it. Dude, I've pet wild deer and shit, like, on their snout. But if I ever tried to take a picture with one, I wouldn't grab it. I would literally just stand next to it and take a picture. That makes more sense to me. I would not pick up any wild animal that's, like, away from its mother, especially, too. A baby seal. I might get up to it and be like, picture. And then walk away.
Like selfie.
Honestly, I'd probably just take a picture of it. That's what I would do. Now that I'm thinking about it, if I saw a baby seal, I would zoom in, take a picture of it, and then maybe see how close I could get to it. And then it'd probably just run away.
So much. Selfies are so fucking gay. It's unbelievable. Leave it in too. I said it. They're gay. Leave it in. The Great Basket Island in County Kerry, Ireland is home to over 1,000 seals and is often having to put up with misbehaving tourists interacting with them. The two of them reportedly took the baby seal from the beach and chucked it into the ocean.
What?
Seals and is often having to put up with misbehaving tourists interacting with them. The two of them reportedly took the baby seal from the beach and chucked it into the ocean. Afterwards, they dragged it back onto shore in order to take selfies with it.
Is that it? Oh my God, is that a seal?
In order to take selfies with it. Get back over here. What kind of logic is that? What the f? Young seals spend their first 3 weeks of life being fed by their mother before they must fend for themselves. Because humans were interacting with the seal, the mom was scared off. Because of this, the pup was unable to feed, which led to its untimely death. It isn't just,
who the f just hit it with a crock? Oh, I'll f strangle that mother.
No-name, non-celebrities animals either, right? I mean, now even people are starting to throw things at Mudang, the little baby hippo, little pygmy hippo, which this year, a pygmy hippo by the name of Mudang, which means bouncy pork, who gives a f, took the world by storm after a series of viral tweets showcasing how cute and lovable and playful she was.
I wouldn't even play with a baby hippo, dude. Regardless, baby hippo, bro. Big hippos. Hippos kill people. Hey, I'll feed them a watermelon. One of those videos where they go, and then they just plop a whole watermelon in their mouth. Love those videos, by the way. Top 10 favorite animal video. Okay. Dogs whining in their sleep. Love that. Capybaras. Love that. Funny, cute otter noises. Love that. Hippos chomping down on watermelons. Definitely cats purring. Yep. Penguins waddling, like a little baby penguin waddling. Love those. Oh, what are those things that Chad, I'm gonna reenact the animal. They're like laying down and they wake up in the morning, they go, meow. What is that? It's not a meerkat. I fuck with meerkats. Love meerkats. What is that? Not a groundhog, a prairie dog. Yeah, prairie dog. Prairie dog and meerkats.
I even saw a TikTok of a girl.
Oh, and when raccoons steal shit. Yeah, when raccoons steal shit because they're little bandits. When somebody like walks out on their porch and it's just a raccoon holding something between his little paws, and because of the way his fur is shaped, it looks like he's wearing a mask, and he's just like,
who's like, I'm traveling 14 hours to see Mudang, and she did that like 6 times. How much free time do you have, dude? It's a pygmy hippo. Get over it. Mudang is exhibited at the Khao Kyu Open Zoo in Sriracha Charu.
Oh, it's a pygmy hippo? I thought it was just a baby hippo.
Thailand. Whatever. As Mudang became a viral star, the zoo found ways to capitalize on her virality by opening up a merch line. Basically, they just started throwing Mudang on everything and selling it. This also just feels like torture, dude. I feel like these zoos. You know what I say? I say zoos. I don't zoos, man. If you're helping an animal out, sure. Why the f do we have fat face coming up and being like, hey, polar bear?
I like when zoos help animals that would no longer be able to survive in the wild themselves due to like injuries and shit. But there are a lot of zoos that I don't actually even know. I went to the San Diego Zoo. I actually don't know if the San Diego Zoo is the San Diego Zoo immoral. I have no idea. But I don't like when they're like just using them.
Polar bear. Zoos, man. Probably some fucking guy getting paid minimum wage has like a hose spraying off a fucking like dying penguin. I don't give a shooting him in the back and shit. Totally. They even created a 24/7 live stream to see what she was up to at all times. It's awesome. Run around! Sadly, the notoriety Mudang brought to the Khao Kyu Zoo led to increasingly misbehaving.
God, I hate. Oh, I'm gonna piss some people off with this. Yo, what are we doing bringing a fucking full-size film camera to a goddamn zoo? Go in the nature. Be one of those people that sits still for 6 days to find a bear come out of hibernation. Those are badass. They don't fuck with the animals. You're telling me you pay $20 to bring a fucking $15,000 camera with a $6,000 lens so you can take a picture of a hippo that's just sitting in just sleeping in a fucking cage? Yeah. Oh wow, great photography, bud. Yeah, your pictures are gonna. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a edit. That's gonna go viral. Oh, look at the panda. Look at the panda at the San Diego Zoo. Pandas are back.
Sadly, the notoriety Mudang brought to the Khao Kyu Zoo led to increasingly misbehaving tourists. Because as soon as mouth-breathing fucking idiots get wind of anything, they have to ruin everything and anything. He's cute, huh? Hey, Mudang! Look at me! Look at me, Mudang! In order to get a reaction out of the pygmy hippo, people began throwing rocks and objects onto her. When tourists made their way to the zoo to see her, some were frustrated to see that she was laying down and not putting on a show. Hand me my fucking lighter. Hey! In response, many would toss things at her in hopes of capturing viral photos and videos, or simply to see her in action. People engaging in this behavior were threatened with legal action, and the zoo has since limited the amount of visitors allowed to see her at one time in order to keep things safe. They're probably beating the shit out of that fucking pygmy hippo. I'm never going to step foot inside another fucking zoo again in my life. I am not fucking going in.
You think in like 4 years, Mudang's gonna eat someone, or not eat someone, kill someone?
Even like fucking, what do they have up in Japan? Capybara Cafe. Why the do I want to go to that now, dude? What a great life for you. Do you like this? A man helps a calf.
I don't know. I feel like capybaras, animals, here's my take with like, I think animals that are predators that need to like hunt, eat, and like roam a lot of land feel more, it feels more sad to see those in zoos than like a giraffe. Because a giraffe just like walks around, he gets to eat some leaves, and he doesn't have to worry about something killing him. Capybara is just a rodent. He gets food fed to him, he gets to take little baths. I feel like a capybara is probably chill with it.
Rejoin a herd, and it leads to its death. Is this, are we just talking about animal death, or is this still about tourists? In 2023, a newborn bison had to be put to death after a tourist interfered with its herd. This video might break me. It occurred in Wyoming at the Yellowstone National Park when the herd was crossing a river together. As they climbed up onto the roadway, a man noticed that one was left on its own. Seeing that it was struggling to walk up the steep hill, the man picked the bison up and pushed him the rest of the way. This seemingly good deed.
Oh, but he thought he was doing a good thing. No.
It causes issues for wild animals, as interfering with a young offspring can often result in the herd rejecting it and leaving it behind out of fear. And they noticed that it began to continuously approach the other cars and people on the road. To keep it from endangering innocent people, park officials ultimately had to euthanize it. In return, the man could possibly face a misdemeanor charge for disturbing wildlife, as well as charges that can carry up to 6 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. Just seems excessive. Are you gonna go to your mom? Are you gonna go to your mom?
I don't know if he should be in trouble for that. If he thought he was doing the right thing. Because it's like, dude, I don't know, man. If I saw like, I'm just thinking in my head, I mean, obviously I'm not near any bison, but say I saw like a deer that like couldn't cross a river, like would I instinctively go and help it? I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to see it die.
Speaking of Yellowstone, there are a lot of videos of people getting too close to bison and they just get completely destroyed. Let me see this little girl get tossed up. I want to see a smile get put on my face. Ah, you stupid little bitch. I love it. I like how other people just like, they left the little girl on her own. She's like, oh my God. You know, is that the Buffalo Wild Wings bison, you think? I think it is. Yeah. I want more of that. Give me more child death. I like that more. Also, tourists like to fall into the hot springs and dissolve, which is fun. Tourist, we're not going to Japan.
Dude, when I was in Iceland, they had to have signs everywhere at the geysers that said, "This is really hot water," basically. Do not touch this water. And I'm sitting there like, are people really that stupid that they're going to jump into a geyser? Yes.
Anymore, I'm refunding the tickets.
Not knowing that it will melt them to a pulp.
Or I can talk about Chinese tourists who go nuts for jumbo shrimp. What is that?
You're just at like a fucking buffet. A jumbo shrimp! We need a move!
Talk about animals getting euthanized, little girls get hit by bisons, and now Chinese people loving jumbo shrimp. During dinner at a Thai buffet in Chiang Mai, a chaotic scene takes place when a horde of Chinese tourists charge a pile of jumbo shrimp. Okay, there's no way me saying this cannot be racist.
Isn't shrimp so common, though?
A horde of Chinese people flooding a pile of jumbo shrimp? In a video released in 2016, you can see people
3 full plates.
Shoveling shrimps onto their plates. Some are using a second plate as a utensil to shove more shrimp onto the first. Okay, I mean, I'll be honest, it's a lot of shrimp. Motherfuckers love their shrimp. Holy hell. God damn, they all look so serious.
Yeah, that's me with chicken wings, though.
It's too. Not one of them have a smile on their face.
For real, that's me with chicken wings. You get some buffalo wings, some lemon pepper wings. You put like a tub of that. I might fight somebody for them.
It doesn't look like any of them are happy to even be there. They're all just like...
Chinese tourists got a lot of money, so they would go into like Thailand or Taiwan and basically be very rude.
They had that shrimp money now, huh? I want all the plates of shrimp I could possibly get. Commentators were appalled at the viral video, especially after seeing the aftermath photos revealing how much food had gone to waste.
Well, they didn't even eat that?
After the whole ordeal. I don't even want it. Nah, I'm good. I'm stuffed. I ate 2 pieces.
I don't know, man. I can't eat shrimp that aren't, like, not deveined, but, like, tail, like when they I don't like you peel shrimp that have their head on. I'm fine with you peel shrimp, and I've gone shrimping before, and I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I went shrimping, and I got 2 buckets of them bitches in Florida one time, and I remember sitting in a yard just popping their heads off. No problem. It was fun. I'm not even gonna lie. That's some psychopath shit. I remember it was fun catching the shrimp, preparing my own food. But I don't want it on my plate cooked with the head on, the legs on, the tail on, the eyes on. Pop that shit off while it's raw, you know?
Food had gone to waste after the whole ordeal. I don't even want it. Nah, I'm good. I'm stuffed. I ate 2 pieces of jumbo shrimp. Nah, I'm good, actually. China experienced significant food scarcity during periods like the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution. As a result, having an abundance of food became a symbol of prosperity and success. For some, ordering more food than necessary is a way to demonstrate wealth and
But why shrimp?
Overcome past hardships. I just ordered this because you should see like a Mercedes-Benz. It's like having a pair of Gucci sunglasses or something like that. Jumbo shrimp. I like that's like the one slice of watermelon. We did also want to get the watermelon in there too, because watermelon pairs very nicely with jumbo shrimp. Tourist flips a boat after refusing to stop taking selfies. During a gondola ride in Venice last year, Chinese tourists were launched into the water due to selfish groups' desire to take as many photos as possible. You know me with Chinese tourists and photos, dude. Up in Alaska, when I proposed to my wife up in Alaska, we went to go see the Northern Lights, whatever. I swear to God, there was 30 tourists with cameras dead sprinting back and forth, taking all these fucking photos. Like, unbelievable. To the point...
Bro, I've heard that the Northern Lights are kind of mid, and that all the photo, it's easier and better to capture on a photo than it is with your eye. And it's just, like, very faint and just kind of like... when you see the Northern Lights in images or videos, they just look, like, breathtaking. But in actual practice with your eyes, you might see, like this. Like, it'll be like, ooh, the Northern Light.
Where you were like, just take it in for a second, man. You're like, ah! They were shifting in every direction to take videos and photos, which became problematic when the gondolier had to sail the boat under a bridge. He insisted that the passengers stop standing out of their seats and take photos, but nobody listened. Because of this, the boat was unable to stay balanced and tipped over. In a video posted online, you can see the groups of tourists crying as they desperately try to get out of the ice-cold canals.
Also, those canals are fucking disgusting.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? That being oh God, you know what, good, let him fall over, man. I've experienced my own pain. I'm not gonna die on this hill. Or we could talk about all the times that tourists go to really nice places and they like to just say f it and vandalize all the property there, because that's fun, because every place on earth is like your job's bathroom. Ancient temple, the exact same as my Amazon warehouse's job bathroom. I could just take my car key.
Nah, nothing's worse than the bathrooms at like very popular college bars. You just piss on the floor, dude. Like empty beer cans or cups full of piss in a male bathroom. Toilet paper on the ground, vomit on the floor. There's like a little poop maybe on the wall. You just walk into the bathroom, just toilets clogged to the brim. I've had that happen. There was a frat party that had that problem too. Didn't care. I walk in, the toilet was to the brim, clogged with toilet paper, shit, a beer can. I just pee right on top of it. It starts flowing down. There's maybe a centimeter inch thick, like, you know, glaze of water and like beer all over the floor. You wear your shitty shoes to a frat party, so it doesn't matter. This was like 2 years ago. And I just walk into the bathroom, just pee right into the toilet. It just drips down. I just walk out. No problem.
Keys out and just start carving my name into it. The time. Which we can talk about tourists defacing the
pledges feel that pain. Yeah, they're the ones cleaning it.
Kyoto bamboo trees. One of Japan's most ancient and popular sites, Arashiyama Bamboo Grove. It is known as the UNESCO World Heritage Site, which are precious historical places representing a major stage of Earth's history. Not just Japan, f***ing Earth, the planet we live on, okay? Despite the delicate nature of the site, 100 bamboo trees were found tainted with carvings in 2018.
No.
Like the pandas eat them, they can't be that cool, right? Tourists from all over the world would pass by this landmark, carving their names and other words into the bamboo to commemorate the experience. Because bamboo trees are connected to their roots, doing this not only endangers the carved tree, but the ones around it. This leads to tampered trees being chopped down. Disrespectful actions like this.
Wow, so if they fucking carve their name into it, it basically ensures that it'll
This
die.
could lead to tourist spot being closed down for good in order to continue preserving this historical landmark. And according to the manager of the forest. The manager of the forest? What the fuck does he look? What kind of, is he a centaur? He was past the stage of anger and feeling deep sorrow. It's that thing where it's like when you go into like a museum, is your first inclination to be like to touch things? No, you're just observing respectfully, right? Oh, this is beautiful. Also,
dude, I love museums now. I love museums now. I hated them when I was in school and when you would go out on a field trip in like 4th grade. Now, dude, yeah, go to a museum. You're gonna show me some ancient weaponry. You're gonna show me a fucking flail that was used to kill people in the 1600s and a weird document that's untranslatable that's on a rock. Yeah, that's f***ing badass. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna read the whole paragraph and go, wow, that's pretty sick.
Who the f*** wants their
I remember one time, dude, I don't even know where the museum was. It was probably in fucking Philadelphia or New York, but it had a genuine mummified body like on display in a glass case. And I remember just going, imagine being that dead guy, but like right before he dies, and they like mummify him, they go, you're gonna be on display in a glass case in 5,000 years.
Stupid ass name like Steven carved into a fucking piece of bamboo. Idiot. God, man, people suck. Tourist and fiance try to carve their names into the Colosseum. Yeah, the Roman Colosseum. Wow. It's romantic. UK visitors, of course they're UK people. UK visitors to the famous Roman Colosseum are facing possible jail time for defacing its walls in order to commemorate his time there with his girlfriend. He's just his girlfriend, dude. She's like, we should get tattoos. He's like,
yeah, I would never do that shit. I've carved my name into like a tree in the middle of the woods, but like a fat ass oak tree.
Why don't we just carve our name to the wall? The motherfucker's trying to get out. The Colosseum is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Once again, fucking Earth. We learned about this already. While Ivan Dimitrov attempted to carve Ivan plus Haley, that's a terrible collection of names. Ivan Dimitrov Haley. Well, Ivan Dimitrov attempted to carve Ivan plus Haley 23 on the wall. He noticed that he was being filmed by a bystander that began verbally chastising him. This man then gave the footage to security. Love that. I
mean, yeah, dude, that's going to a fucking historical landmark and defacing it with your name being Haley and Ivan were dating. We were here. Are we gonna get married? I don't know. We've been dating for 6 months. I'm gonna write this in on the wall to like commemorate our relationship.
Love that like police hall monitor guy. Look at this.
Cool. Dude, that's literally the same thing as like walking up to the Lincoln. I would say it's worse. It's worse than walking up to the Lincoln Memorial and like literally carving your name into his fucking forehead. Because that shit's older. The Colosseum.
Cultural Minister Gennaro Sangriano referred to it as, quote, an act that offended everyone across the globe who appreciated the value of archaeology, of monuments, and of history. That's a fucking deep insult, dude. Not even just being like, it's the Colosseum. He's like, archaeology. Monuments to mankind and history. You, sir, have spat in its face. Ivan's just like, hey, bro. Easy, bro. Take my demo tape. He was caught by police and faced legal proceedings. A long and apologetic letter was sent to Rome's mayor as his lawyers made a plea bargain to request, don't let it happen, dude. Fuck him. Fuck him. Yeah, one day can I not call? I have key. If I have key, can I not carve? It's like, no, start your fucking car, moron. Or we could talk about teenagers who carves his name into a 1,200-year-old temple in Japan. While visiting a Buddhist temple in Nara, Japan, a Canadian teenager named Julian carved his name into a wooden pillar using his fingernails. Every Julian I've ever met, some of the weirdest fucking human beings on earth. Also, Julian, really? Took his rat teeth and was wheedling them down. He's like,
sharpen his fucking fingernails.
Julian, that's my name.
The young man insisted that he did not intend to insult or disrespect their culture. I put my name there because I thought the place was sick. It's gonna not just think some place is cool. Too. Okay, fine. Regardless, actions like this can result in heavy fines and years of imprisonment. Due to his age, he likely will not be charged with anything severe. I think it should be the death penalty. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say maybe fine him a lot.
I'm joking. I'm fucking around. Or we could talk about how tourists break a 150-year-old statue for pictures. 17 German tourists, while on vacation in northern Italy, shattered a 150-year-old statue in an attempt to take a fun photo.
No.
It's going to fall and then we'll catch.
Yo, that's me when I go into Goodwill and this literally happened the other day. I went to a Goodwill and I was touching this weird ass doll and I went to turn to Brooke and be like, why is this here? And the head popped off and I just went and I put it back. Well, this is way worse, but similar experience.
Catch it It would be very funny. In the video captured by security cameras, you can see the group stepping over the water to stand next to the statue. While taking the photo, a buddy on the other side jokingly pokes at him with a wooden cane. Was he a vaudeville character with the phone? He's like, just like my mother used to do to us, right? As the man falls into the water, they bring down the entire statue, which crumbles upon hitting the ground. Oh.
Dude, the oh fuck moment. How much do you think they're gonna charge you? Imagine that's an Airbnb. Yeah, that'll be a fucking $10,000 fine.
The cringe. The absolute cringe. Yeah, oh, mein bad. He's coming to mein Geburtstag still? I don't know. The work known as Domina cost about $218,000 and was precious to the location. Obviously. It is not known yet if the tourist will be charged or forced to pay for the damages. What? Justice! I demand justice!
Gulp. Dude, I would shit my pants if they were like, dude, that's $250,000. I would have assumed like $20K they would charge you. $200,000.
I talk about other people smashing stuff, like when tourists smashed some Vatican statues. In 2022, an American tourist smashed 2 ancient Roman sculptures at
purposefully
the Vatican in a blind rage. Of course, dude. Probably another Julian. In the Musei Caramanti Museum, an adult man entered and aggressively insisted that he speak to the Pope Francis. Obviously, he was denied the request.
He walked into the Vatican and demanded to speak to the Pope himself.
I want to talk to the Pope! They're like, no, we can't. He's like,
he's busy. Well, I'm gonna fucking burn this place to the ground then.
God damn! He responded in anger by hurling an ancient sculpture to the floor. Vatican staff and security began to chase after him, and on his way out, he toppled another one over. Oh, God.
You know what's crazy? If that was 1,000 years ago, the Catholic Church would have executed him. Oh, he would have been dead. They would have killed him.
The sculptures were not
killed him for less.
Fully destroyed, but severely damaged. The man was forced out of the museum and handed to the authorities. Reportedly, he had been in trouble in the past for gross indecency in the U.S. Black Friday, dude, I'm telling you. This is definitely a Black Friday Best Buy guy who's like toppling over little girls and shit. And if actions like this continue to take place, it is yet again another historical spot that will halt tourists from entering. Which I say, good. Don't let them in, dude. F us. We're all dumb. This is, we're not going. Seriously, Japan trip canceled. We're not going now. You know where we're going to go? We're going to go Yellowstone. We're all going to throw ourselves into the hot springs. Or an 18-year-old American lights 7 fires in Tokyo. That's you when you're denied Asian pussy. That was a stray. I'm sorry. That was a stray. He did this not just once, but 7 times in various parts of the region. 1 fire wasn't enough. I better do this.
What motivates somebody to just randomly do that, though? Like a bored teen that just wants to go fucking wreak havoc? Anime villain? Oh my God, do you think he actually perceived himself as like an anime villain? He was like really into a fucking evil-esque manga, and he was like, I'm going to avenge my family.
7 times.
I must burn down this 7-Eleven.
Times in total. He was arrested after being caught lighting a fire in Nihonbashi. As the police began an investigation, they were able to tie 6 other nearby
I have the power of fire on my side.
Fires within 1.2 mile radius to the same person. Imagine lighting 7 fires, like barely over a mile. Most instances were trash cans lit on fires. Is the same guy?
Ah! They found me. Time to make my quick getaway. We can still see you. What? My cloak of invisibility has failed.
When he was questioned by police to his motives, he told them that he did not remember anything that occurred. This man was arrested on charges of arson and further investigation is underway. So at least he's arrested. Or the Tori Shrine gets destroyed with coins from tourists. In 2018, tourists inadvertently destroyed the Ikushima Shrine's Tori gate.
To earn good luck?
This Tori is placed in the middle of a bay, but is able to be visited up close when the tide is low. This is when tourists come to take photos and videos. The lower parts of the gate that are often submerged in water are noticeably damaged. Over time, tourists began shoving coins in these cracks as an attempt to bestow some kind of good luck. Not only does this donation technique fit with traditional donation practices, the cracks are being enlarged due to the coins and slowly destroying the Tori. Over time, it is believed the gate will be severely damaged if this practice continues, which we all know.
I mean, can they restore it, though?
Know that it will. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna be destroyed because people are terrible. And then lastly, we're gonna talk about a couple who tried to steal over $1 million in wine. We're tourists. We're going to steal $1 million in wine. Last year, 2 tourists were in prison for stealing 1.
Oh my God, can we get a Costco guys fucking round the world series? We get AJ and Big Justice conquering fucking Japan.
$6 million in bottled wine. Priscilla, a former Mexican beauty pageant star, and her partner,
Oh wow, this will get 5 big booms.
Boom! Boom! Stayed at a luxury hotel.
Oh, we're sorry to hear about your brother's passing. He gets 5 big booms.
Boom! 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 that was next door to a Trio, a 3 Michelin star fine dining restaurant in Spain. After eating at the restaurant, they went on a group's tour of the wine cellar, which featured vintage bottles that cost up to $371,000 apiece. Using the information from the tour, the two of them returned to their hotel room to plan their heist. It began with Priscilla ordering room service late into the night, around 2 a.m., when only one man was working the front desk. As he left to deliver it, her husband stole his key card and used it to gain access to the wine cellar. This is I was going to say a movie. You gotta believe that. They made off with 45 bottles of high-priced wine and escaped at around 5 a.m. They were
honestly, if you were gonna rip this heist, just steal one bottle because they might not notice. 45, they're fucking noticing. They're noticing 45 bottles are gone. One bottle, somebody redeemed flex. One bottle though, $200,000 bottle.
Ultimately caught and arrested at the Albanian-Croatian border. Both of them were sentenced to several years in prison for armed robbery and were forced to pay 753,000 euro, which is basically $800,000. The couple has the ability to appeal the court's decision and seem to want to do so under the lawyer's claim that 45 bottles do not fit into 2 sports bags. This case is still ongoing. I mean, 45 bottles, Your Honor, into 2 Nike bags. Like, we have video footage of.
Hey, that's a fair take, though.
Please. All I know is this. Tourists are terrible. Like I said, I'm canceling my flights. We're not going. No more. We're not doing it. I'm never stepping into a zoo again. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in my house and I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry over the atrocities of the world and these tourists. And all I can do is beg God to forgive us all.
All right, that was a good video. I enjoyed watching that, though. How humans ruined dogs.
Let's be honest. This is not the product of...
I don't like pugs. A lot of pugs. I like some pugs. But dogs like that, dude, whenever I look at them, I just go, this dog is so poorly suited for survival. And I know wiener dogs and like chihuahuas would never survive in the wild, but they look like they have more of a quality of life. When I see a dog that's face just looks like and they sleep like this. I'm like, dude, this dog is having a terrible time right now.
Evolution. Have you ever wondered how this fierce, intelligent, and agile animal could have turned into this? A kind of toy for humans. And the worst part? What future awaits them in the next 200, 500...
And they're so stupid. And they're so stupid, bro. It's like, I don't know. There's certain types of dogs that I think are bred very well. And they're smart. They're still adorable. They're great companions. Border collies, right? They're very intelligent. They're sheep herding dogs. You can have them as family dogs. They're active, right? They know what they're doing, and they have health problems. Every type of dog, every breed of dog has their own health problems, but they can survive through that. And then there's types of dogs that are like Pomeranians and bulldogs and pugs, and they just have so many fucking problems. And it's like humans just went, hey, let's make the biggest sausage ball that's just a brick, and we're just gonna make it an animal, and it'll just sit there, and it's gonna get worse and worse. It's inbreeding in part, and that's why the guy in the video is saying, hey, after 200 years it's gonna get worse, because it will. And that's even shown in like golden retrievers. Golden retrievers' lifespans are going down, and they get cancer at higher rates because of inbreeding.
500 or 1,000 years. It's time to dive deeper into this topic. This is a question that has been on my mind for many years. Why do certain species seem to evolve negatively? Or rather, why has humanity influenced some species so negatively? As I've grown up, my love for animals and dogs in particular has led me to ask countless questions that I'll be sharing on this channel. But let's go back to the beginning.
I love dogs so much, dude. They have to be my favorite animal. It's not even close. But it's only specific types of dogs. I don't like pugs. Like, I don't want a dog. I don't want a pug. I would never want to own a pug. I would be mad at it, right? I would still, take care of it, but I wouldn't enjoy it as a companion. I like dogs that would follow me on a walk in the woods and, still sleep at the foot of your bed at night. And they, have the, at least, wherewithal intelligence to stay alive in the wild for a day if they needed to.
Don't agree on the exact moment or place. What is clear is that all modern dogs descend from a common ancestor, the gray wolf.
Oh, I love those dogs, though. I love bloodhounds. And they got those thick-ass ears.
Descend from a common ancestor, the gray wolf, or Canis lupus, which has inhabited our planet for approximately 1 million years. An animal that earned its place in the evolutionary ladder after millions of years of changes and adaptations. Regarded as a great hunter, it developed a sharp sense of smell, excellent hearing, distances of more than 10 kilometers. Binocular vision with a 250-degree angle, and a system of communication through howls, mainly used to attract the attention of its pack. Not to mention its advanced teeth equipped to hold prey, tear, and cut meat. In short, a well-developed species, highly advanced in evolutionary...
I always say this, but imagine being like the first cavemen that interacted with wolves and domesticated them to where they lived with you. How scary that must have been in the start, where you had wolves that were like a pack of wolves that lived with you, and you kind of went to bed thinking you were chill, but in the back of your head, they might eat me in my sleep.
Terms that we are lucky enough to still enjoy today. But certain individuals in remote areas went one step further. They timidly approached the fires lit by primitive humans for warmth, and it was there where everything changed. Their patience sometimes paid off, and they were rewarded with leftovers from that night's meal. Little by little, they became a faithful companion to humans until they became inseparable.
Wow.
That marked the beginning of a close relationship that would extend...
Do you think it's really from the warmth of fires? I don't even think it's necessarily that. It might just be humans don't pick carcasses clean. We don't have the teeth to do so. So we always probably just had leftover shit, and wolves wanted it.
Until today. But like everything touched by man, there would be consequences, and wolves were no exception. That relationship eventually led to the domestication of the wolf, bringing with it a new species, the Canis familiaris, or the common dog as we know it today, which appeared around 15,000 years ago. Humans began selecting the tamest individuals, resulting in animals with lower adrenaline and melanin, which caused physical alterations like...
Oh, look at him.
Physical alterations like coat color, giving rise to the first breeds. Later, and through a somewhat primitive artificial selection, they were selecting specific traits that give...
No. See, they went wrong here.
Specific traits that give rise to different breeds of dogs. This, combined with humans' continental migrations, left us with an incredible variety of dog breeds across all continents. The so-called domestication...
That's so cool, though, that all dogs originate from different areas.
Syndrome. Different coats, different sizes, bodies, ears, and up to this point, everything seemed fine. But I've always found it super intriguing how it's possible that such a wide variety of breeds was created. In fact, it's...
Like, that thing just looks dumb, bruh.
How it's possible that such a wide variety of breeds was created.
Like, you can't tell me... Like, I already know, dude, that you approach that thing, and it's going to start doing that dumb growl. And they start freaking out, and their eyes pop out of their head because they're fucking terrified. Oh, they're so annoying. See, I don't know. French bulldogs, that's fine. Beagles are chill. English bulldog, poodles, Dalmatian.
And this is where I want to get to. how does the pug even remotely resemble a golden retriever?
Yeah, that's so, dude, it's so weird that they're close enough related to where they could bang and have offspring. But they don't even look like similar species, let alone breeds.
Coincidence that they chose it as one of the protagonists in Men in Black.
Just because something's important doesn't mean it's not very, very small. How small?
How is it possible that in an effort to create a perfect breed, we ended up designing a fragile, comedic animal that suffers just by existing? It's this paradox that made me create this video and delve much deeper into the topic because I truly believe it's important that we all understand this. We already know all dogs come from wolves, right? Okay. But is it normal that there are dogs completely deformed standing next to their closest relative, the wolf? Absolutely not.
Dude, like literally they're deformed. Like it's not even, yes, it's a breed of dog, but pugs are just like, if you put a pug and a border collie next to each other, like you would just be like, you made that on purpose. That's mean. It's not mean. Is that mean? I wouldn't even say that's mean. It's like, dude, you're like breeding these dogs to have features that cause them to suffer. Like genuinely. People hand-selected features from these animals to give them breathing problems and to give them hip problems and to give them all of these other issues to where they look the way they want them to look in a deformity way so they could just be like, oh, this is a cute animal.
Looking at the difference in skulls between wolves and pugs,
he can breathe just fine. My friend has a French bulldog. When it gets overly excited, his eye pops out of his head. I love the dog. When he gets excited, his eye pops out of his head. That's not normal, right? That's not good. It was bred to have those issues.
Yeah, of the radical changes their biology has undergone.
Then what do? They got to put it back in. They got to go to the hospital or whatever. And I think it's only happened like twice, but it's like it has to get so excited. But when you could see it, I remember I was over his house and it was getting really excited and his eyes started like bulging out and he was like, all right, nobody touch him. I was like, why? His eye pops out of his head.
In fact, the internet is full of memes making this comparison because, although it might seem funny, it's really a reflection of how poorly we're evolving as a species.
Is that its head? Oh my God. Oh my God. Stop. Stop. Is that what a fucking pug skeleton looks like?
And I want to focus on the pug, not only because it's one of the oldest breeds, but because I believe it's one of the most mistreated and the best example of what I want to convey. Honestly, when I see one, I feel the same way I do when I see a small dog. I like to pet it, and I even find it cute, but at the same time, I must admit, it makes me suffer. Later on, you'll understand what I mean.
Like, I want to pull his head back. I want to go. And then his skin, and then it'll look. Ugh.
Let's go back to the era of domestication. Apparently, in the Asian region, specifically in China, there are ancient documents that indicate that in the time of Confucius, around 700 BC, there were short-snouted dogs. In fact, they were considered imperial property, just like pearls and jade.
Wow, in 700 BC, they had things that were similar to pugs.
Emperor Ling liked them so much that he gave them titles, and female dogs were given the same status as his wives.
All right, now that's fucked up. That's fucked up for women. Women had the same status. His wives had the same status as his dogs.
This obsession with specific traits in dogs led to breeding with the sole purpose of creating and perfecting breeds, but it also caused cranial deformation, giving rise to the three types of skulls found in dogs today: dolichocephalic, mesocephalic, and brachycephalic. Like the pug or bulldog, undoubtedly the most affected. But we've heard this story before.
Oh yeah, the fucking Habsburgs, dude. And that's a painting, man. Yeah.
But we've heard this story before, haven't we?
Like, he doesn't seem real, dude. The Habsburg guy, where it was like, if you don't know the Habsburg, it's like a lineage of royalty where they were just like fucking their sisters, dude. like, for generations. And then they spawned the Habsburg kid who died when he was, like, fucking, like, what, 18 or some shit? When did he had the end of the 17th century, marital practice had become apparent. Family members had distinctive protruding lips and a high rate of infant mortality. The Habsburg dynasty power led to its demise because they just kept having sex with each other. And then he died. I don't even know his name. Charles II. Yeah, Charles II, the King of Spain. He was born, oh no, he lived to 39. He would commonly get ill, blah, 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 legacy. I want to look at, like, the parents. Oh, fuck no. See? Yeah. This is it. Look. Here is Charles II of Spain. And this is going back before this. But just look at his parents. Philip IV of Spain shares the same... Philip IV Spain's father is Mariana's grandfather. Which would mean that this is her uncle? Right? Or no? And then even moving forward, you could see that it just keeps going, right? Leopold I did it with Margaret. They made Charles. And it just kept going. Like, they just kept, even over here. Anne of Austria had Louis the 14th. And then she did it too. Oh, God, bro. It's just motherfuckers having sex with each other.
But we've heard this story before, haven't we? In Europe, royal families like the Habsburgs only married their cousins to keep the power in the family.
Bro, that literally sounds like the McPoyles from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That genuinely sounds like, we need to keep the blood clean. We need to keep the blood clean, so you have to have sex with your cousins.
And because of that, they turned out horrible. Since they had no other genes to mix with, their genetic defects became more and more.
Yeah, any recessive traits immediately become not dominant, but immediately become apparent because if you have a problem, your kid's going to have that problem.
More pronounced until Carlos II of Spain was born, one of the most radical victims of inbreeding and repeated crosses between close relatives. This man was born with a mouth so twisted he couldn't even swallow, had rickets, was lame, suffered from epilepsy, and barely lived to 35. Well, exactly the same thing happened to purebred dogs, especially the oldest ones like the pug or bulldog. Each generation has more defects and less health. All of this was dog. Each generation has more defects.
Wow. They get more shruggish.
Each generation.
Like, that doesn't look that bad. That kind of just looks like a chihuahua. Am I wrong? 1891. That was a long time ago, but historically that was
has more defects and less.
Even then, that's not that bad.
Defects and
in the 40s.
Less health.
Oh, God.
All of this was accentuated after the British invasion of China in 1860, when pugs were found in the Chinese imperial palace and brought back to England. Queen Victoria became fond of the breed and played an active role in their breeding, which led to even more deformation. In barely 200 years, they went from having short snouts and relatively athletic bodies to having
like that's a short snout, but you could tell that it probably breathes fine.
Squashed faces and
yeah, it literally looks like it was just a chihuahua, like a bigger chihuahua, and you went and you got a Looney Tune cartoon mallet and went bonk and fucking smacked it in the face. Like some Tom and Jerry, like
being stocky and deformed. So yes, we can say that,
like, I don't know, they gotta stop breeding those. That's fine if you want to keep pugs, but stop doing purebred pugs.
This obsession with perfecting breeds and traits comes from the Victorian era, where this practice spread and became the lucrative business of purebred dog breeders that we all know today. And while nowadays there's a lot more caution, and we try not to mix such close relatives.
Oh my God, that looks just like my friend's dog.
Problems of excessive
that one right there.
Of artificial selection.
And he has big nuts. Bro, this dog, chat, let me tell you. This dog, he's so short, and his nuts almost drag on the ground, bro. Every time he turns around, my friend goes, look. I'm like, what? And they're just, dude, they're like fucking hanging there. It's crazy. And honestly, he'll go up to him and he'll touch his nut, and then he'll go, and the dog will do like a fucking jump 180 and go, ow, and then bite him.
Are still there. In fact, all brachycephalic dogs like pugs, English and French bulldogs or boxers are much more prone to serious diseases. Remember,
like, that's how they breathe, bro. That's not normal.
Are much more prone to
And they're like, oh, look at him.
Serious diseases.
Oh, was he just going on a run? No, he was sitting in an air-conditioned home.
Remember Carlos II? Well, the same thing happens to them. Their skull is so flat they can barely breathe, which is why they spend much of their time snorting and coughing. But those are just a few of their problems. The list is endless. On average, pugs have 54 times more likelihood of developing brachycephalic obstructive airway syndrome, 51 times more likelihood of having narrow nostrils, 13 times more likelihood of suffering from corneal ulcers, 11 times more likelihood of having skin fold dermatitis, 2.5 times more likelihood of becoming obese, and 2 times more likelihood of having overgrown nails. As you can see, it's an animal born to suffer.
I hate when people have fat dogs. And that's not even, I'm not even trying to be, that's not like, don't even say that's like fat phobia. That's like, you're literally giving your dog too much food. Nah, that you're literally, or they're like, oh, look at him, he's chunkers. And they'll hold up a cat. Swear to God, looks like Garfield, bro. I'm like, dude, your cat weighs more than my dog. Your cat weighs more than my dog. Like, you're like, just stop feeding your fucking cat for a day, bro. Come on. Like, fucking cut their food out. No, literally. Because if you take, and they know that, because you take your dog has a yearly, if you take your dog to the fucking vet, you have a yearly checkup, and they weigh your dog, and they tell you if your dog's fat. And they do. And they say, you got to feed him a little less, right? And they'll give you a little they'll tell you what to do. And people are like, no, I like him when he's chunky.
The people who buy a dog like this know they can have all these problems. And while it's clear that all purebred dogs, no matter which, are more prone to disease than a mutt, with malformations like hip dysplasia, elbow luxation, or a shorter life expectancy. These issues are always associated with purebred dogs, but without a doubt, brachycephalic dogs are the ones who suffer the most. Honestly, as a dog lover, I don't think there's anything better than walking with your dog, being able to play with them, run, and enjoy their healthy life. But people who choose these kinds of breeds, what are they really looking for? Do they want something funny? A doll? These dogs can barely walk.
It's an ugly ass dog too, bro. I'm sorry. It's not a cute dog, bro. I've never in my life seen a pug that's going and I go, aww. Aww. Wow.
Walk because they suffocate and can hardly see. Think about it. We've gone from having a companion we hunted with to degrading
it can't, yeah. Aw, it can't breathe.
Them into a toy we admire, dress up, carry in a purse, a backpack, or even sometimes in a...
Where? I'm not going to say it.
Where did the wolf's incredible attributes go? That vision, sense of smell, snout, agility, intelligence. Or, without being too strict, where are the natural abilities of a normal dog compared to a dog designed through genetic...
Yeah, bro, you gotta put a fucking life vest on him because he can't swim. Oh my God. I like that shit. Dude, that bothers me. And then you gotta pick him up and you just dunk him in the water. He can't even fucking swim. That's most dogs? No, the fuck it's not. That's most dogs my ass. That is most dogs my ass. Get the fuck out of here. Maybe a dog that hasn't seen water. The majority of dog breeds are capable of swimming. The majority. Pugs can't swim. If you could, pugs can't swim. You chuck that thing in the water, it's sinking like a cannonball.
The wolf was the evolutionary product of millions of years, adaptive changes that formed an exemplary animal. And this is where I want to make you think. I believe we need to reconsider how we treat animals because at this rate, what does the...
Yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, fucking kill off pugs. But just stop fucking breeding them with each other, dude. We need to fucking have reasonable offspring here that are capable of surviving. Oh, yeah, your cat's fat as shit. Yo. Yo, come on, bro. Yo, you gotta feed your cat less, man. You gotta feed your cat less. Yo, that is actually... That's not fat shaming. Bro, your cat's fucking huge.